My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. See thepatternofconduct.wordpress.com.
It's 5:11 a.m. on Friday, May 6, 2022. The people of the state engaging in what is group stalking, and this is hovering in relevant position and indirect light amongst ongoing amplified audible activities. So the entity is maintaining an ongoing chorus of noise, right? Using, for example, the sound of a train. And this is a demon that is stalking, sitting around me in engineer light, stalking on behalf of the state. All right, and doing so at the museum. And the moment that I wake up, this is the stalking with activity conduct, and this is by a demon that knows exactly what I'm doing, knows my level of consciousness. And so the moment that I wake up, I don't move as I wake up. The entity is engaged in just sounding train activity over again, just maintaining noise, ongoing noise. This demon is group stalking, sitting at the museum beside me, and crunches the sound of a water bottle. This is occurring, this is noise creation, and this is a demon that makes noise with this simultaneity to my literally waking up. Now, as I wake up, I don't say anything, I don't move. I'm woken up by what's the ongoing creation of noise by the sound of a train. Then he's creating audible activity. This demon is over here being a creeper while I am sleeping, stalking on behalf of the state. Understand what this third party is doing. It is illegal. You don't have any right to be in what is relevant position on behalf of the state, engaging in surveillance, and it's also terrorism. It doesn't matter if I was sleeping inside of my apartment. They don't have a right to sit outside on the sidewalk outside of my apartment. Understand that, which is exactly what the people of the state were doing. Okay, posing a threat, congregating outside of my apartment, group stalking there. This is group stalking, and this is terrorism, while this minion is creating noise while this demon, because that's what this condition is, creating noise with knowledge of the fact that I am awake. And then as I am, again, moving around, grabbing my phone, not saying anything, I'm in my sleeping bag. As soon as I operate my phone and I begin taking pictures, which does not require any noise, this demon that is stalking and knows exactly what I'm doing begins looking at me, turns around and is focusing their vision on me, knows exactly what I'm doing. And now you're listening to what is conversation, absolute focus on me, a stalker. This is terrorism. This is the state of California. It is equally damning to what is the prosecution for the people of the state and the government. All right, the entity stalking by helicopter, flying in circles, group stalking, the people of the state, demons, engaged in congregating around me while I'm sleeping. A demon that is listening literally to my breathing pattern and is present on behalf of the demon-possessed entity that is flying and stalking by helicopters, stalking by the demon-possessed police department, the Ontario Police. Understand that's the ongoing mutual presence. This is a demon-possessed entity that is maintaining close presence around me, stalking, and is doing so vicariously on behalf of the state. Okay, it is currently 5:14 a.m. and this is the ongoing gibberish of a demon who is entirely focused on me as they begin uttering while they're listening to every word that I'm speaking. Pay attention. This is exactly what Satan was doing while it was stalking in the bathroom, paying absolute focus to me, what I'm doing. The sex offender that knows that my panties are down is paying attention, knows exactly what I'm documenting, and is even responding to documentation when I am not even addressing it. And I don't have to address Satan because Satan is stalking me and Satan is hostile because I'm documenting and I'm prosecuting and exposing the fact that that's exactly what this entity is doing. And this is that obsession. Like I stated, this is that obsession that the entity is revealing while it is stalking me while I'm at a museum in the middle. It's 5:19 in the morning. Well, it's 5:15 right now in the morning. And this demon is over here creating noise while it knows that I'm awake, monitoring and group stalking while the entity is maintaining noise, the sound of a train. All right, doing so while it is monitoring me even as I am sleeping. This is exactly what the entity is doing while I'm in a bathroom, and I'm pointing out all the ways in which all the locations where the entity is engaging in obsession. That's prosecution for terrorism. And this is Satan. Understand that. This is Satan that's stalking in a helicopter, Satan that's stalking in police vehicles, Satan that's stalking in bathroom stalls. All right, Satan that's using its company vehicles and company planes. Satan that's stalking 24 hours a day. Satan that's obsessed with where I am sleeping, whether I am sleeping, whether I'm awake, what I'm doing in the bathroom, as I'm doing it. It is currently 5:15 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, I want to document the people of the state engaging in what is waging an ongoing threat. This minion is responding to every word that I'm uttering while I'm talking on my podcast. He says, I can come closer if you want. You're not outside of an apartment. You are, he said, I'm not outside of an apartment. I'm not in an apartment. He's outside. This is a demon that's engaging in responding directly to what I'm documenting on my phone. So I want to repeat that. And this is 5:17 a.m. right now. While this minion is uttering this, I went to capture more images of his group stalking conduct. You see his posture. His body is facing toward me. He's looking directly in looking exactly in my direction. And this is exactly what he was doing as I, again, silently looked up and grabbed my phone and began capturing images of him. Like I said, this is the reality of what is the demon possessed. This is what this ongoing knowledge is exactly what is the case while demons are stalking in bathroom stalls. And so I want to be clear, this is an entire focus on me. And this is exactly what the ongoing knowledge while psychopaths engage in what is harassment while you're documenting the fact that they're demon-possessed stalkers in bathrooms on behalf of the state. They're monitoring, they're engaged in that same focus. They are engaged in the same stalking conduct. And then they're engaging in what is the conduct of a psychopath who is outwardly engaging in what is hostility while they are both in the same exact demon-possessed state, the same exact stalking activity, but also engaging in what is obstruction of justice while they are engaging, for example, what Stephanie Ortiz engaged in criminal summoning. I want to be clear, it's the same exact entity. And this entity is entirely focused on what I'm doing. Focused on me in every regard, and that's exactly what's illustrated while this demon engages in creating noise, doing so while this demon knows that I have awoken while I'm remaining stationary inside of my sleeping bag, and then as I pick up my phone that inside of my sleeping bag and not making any conversation, not making any noise that is audible. You've got train noise that's going on in the background. I'm not making any noise. The moment I begin capturing images without making any substantial movement whatsoever, this demon that already knows what I am doing, all right, it's focused on me while sitting in relevant position, looking the opposite direction. It's stalking and begins focusing its vision on me, already stalking and already focused on me. All right, looking in my direction is not the evidence of what is the conclusion of somebody focused on you. It's that which you are aware of through the environment, like I stated. All right, psychopaths are engaged in group stalking and doing so while they're looking the opposite direction, as though that is some persuasive form that they're doing anything other than, and that they are anything other than what is demon possessed. And the demon possessed population are stalking, and they're monitoring, and they're doing so on behalf of the state. It is currently 5:19 a.m. All right, this is audible activity and directed light, and this is a third party. And let me be clear: this is the government that is creating what is audible activity while this demon stands up and states out loud. This is what he's repeating. This is audible activity while he's monitoring, and this is unlawful conduct. And this is a minion. Also, this is a demon that's engaging in terrorism and is also missing the point with which I will use to prosecute third parties, the people of the state, and the government. Engaging in what is responding to my documentation as well. A stalker. at 5:20 in the morning, and stating essentially that you have the right to engage in what is stalking on behalf of the state, which is what this third party is doing. A demon-possessed third-party group stalker stating, again, responding to my documentation, that you are not in an apartment, you are at the museum, you're in a public place, and so I essentially that they this third party and the people of the state. This is the position, and this is the absence of any legal basis, by the way, in federal court, that you are at the museum and you don't have. Essentially that I don't have any privacy and that you have a right to engage in what is presence, stalking in public. So I want to be clear, the government does not have a right to engage in criminal surveillance. It's a violation of existing federal law. This is exactly what I have stated with regard to the people of the state who are group stalking where they live, you're group stalking where you work, you're group stalking inside of a private space, you're group stalking inside of public restrooms that are private spaces inside of public establishments. You are also group stalking where the target individual lives in relevant position. You are present on behalf of the state. And this is a minion. First of all, the people of the state that are demon possessed present in that specific environment are not in what is referred to as any ordinary location. And also they are not present on any First Amendment basis, which is what this demon, which is entirely ignorant of what is the prosecution that it is waging while it's monitoring. And this audible activity is speaking to, again, the direct response by Satan while it is monitoring, because this is a reality of what's going on. This is Satan. As you've heard that hostility, this white-faced minion that engaged in monitoring inside of the Upland Public Library, that was Satan. Engaging blah, blah, blah. It's audible activity in the bathroom, directly responding when I'm not even addressing, not even responding, not talking to them. And also in the fact that it's 5:22 a.m. has been seated in relevant positions, stalking, sitting around me in close proximity. This is Satan that wants to be right next to me, and doing so while I'm sleeping. And the moment that I wake up is entirely focused on me, which is exactly what this demon was doing, stalking me while I'm asleep. Let me be clear. The government and the people of the state do not have a right to do so. And like I said, my position, sleeping outside in a museum, which is speaking to what is relevant positioning in engineered light, where the entity is placing a fake sun by day, a fake moon by night, stalking by planes and helicopters, and is engaging in what is stalking via the demon-possessed population, the people of the state, is absolutely reprehensible criminal conduct by the state of California. And it is also evidence of this criminal conduct while a demon is engaging in what is exercising knowledge and focus on me in relevant position on behalf of that state. That is documented group stalking directly as well. So like I said, you have what is my presence inside of my apartment where the entity is group stalking, my presence inside of a hotel room where the entity is group stalking, my presence inside of public establishments at any location, as I continuously document, which is inside of a specific environment where the entity is group stalking. Group stalking is criminal conduct wherever it is occurring, because the government is engaging in what is criminal surveillance and terrorism, those grounds of terrorism is that which shall be prosecuted with regard to understanding what is terrorism in the state of California, while a demon-possessed entity is stalking you obsessively at all places and at all times, which is exactly what is being illustrated right now at 5:23 a.m., where Satan is engaging in stalking me and stating the grounds of which it has no legal basis, in which I will submit in what is a federal court against the entirety of the entity, and it is as equally probative as the entity flying in circles over my head by helicopter. Understand this. This is terrorism while the government is stalking through the people. It is terrorism while the entity is stalking directly by helicopters and police officers, doing so in the exact same specific environment, which is revealing a demon-possessed entity, which has no right whatsoever to engage in group stalking directly, group stalking vicariously, which is what this demon is doing. And doing so, Satan wants to be so close, wants to sit right next to me, and engages in the demonic behavioral pattern of creating audible activity while this demon is aware of the fact that I am now awakened. And as I engage in doing what I want to do in what is an allegedly public place where this demon does not have a right to be present on behalf of the state, the entity is engaging in what is responding to documentation, which is also evidence of what is a demon that is absolutely focused on me. And that is terrorism while a demon-possessed entity is showing that focus, is focused on behalf of and in concert with the government that is focused on me and stalking at the entity. The type of venue is a third-party facilitating venue in directed light, which remains. And this is a psychopath, the same psychopath that is a violent sex offender, maintaining that same focus, maintaining that same vicarious presence, maintaining that ongoing knowledge while they are engaging in what is in a bathroom stall in relevant position, and outside at a museum where I'm sleeping in relevant position on behalf of that government. It is currently 5:25 a.m. So let me break that down while Satan is speaking to what is nothing other than the creation of audible activity, and is in every way woefully unprepared for what is also the documentation of what is terrorism and interstate stalking on behalf of that government that's demon possessed to be prosecuted for terrorism, and has no legal right to engage in criminal surveillance on behalf of an entity. There is no location where you are lawfully engaging in what is Title 18, Section 2261A conduct under subsections 1 and 2, which is what this demon-possessed entity is doing. There is no location, private or personal, which, by the way, I've spoken to and revealed the pattern of conduct. You're talking about what is going beyond Title 18 criminal activity, and this is where the government is engaging in what is surveillance, never contemplated, where the government's engaging in Title 18 criminal conduct. This is a venue, a third-party facilitating venue, where there is no right to engage in any presence. You don't have any First Amendment presence. You're present on behalf of the state. And this is further, again, demonstrated while this demon is responding to my documentation. This demon is stalking with audible activity creation while engaging in a changing of activity. And that is going from the level of consciousness from sleep to being awake, which Satan itself knows, while Satan is stalking through a demon-possessed third-party group stalker who's creating audible activity in directed light and present on behalf of the state. So I want to break all that down. It's 5:26 a.m. This is the response of Satan through a minion who was present on behalf of the minions who are patrolling all night long on Euclid Avenue, Hall Boulevard, group stalking on the grounds of the museum, group stalking by plane and helicopter, and doing so at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. It's 5:26 a.m. This is P.O.C. It is 5:27 p.m. and I'm capturing what is relevant positioning. The people of the state remain in relevant position, engaging in ongoing surveillance. Traffic is the method of surveillance where the entity is engaging in state surveillance amongst the people. This demon is sitting exceedingly close to me. This is how close Satan wants to be. This is how obsessed Satan is. Let me be clear, this same obsession is demonstrated while I'm inside of the library and the entity is keeping a fake sun in directed light and the demons are sitting around. Understand that's their purpose. It doesn't change while demons such as Elaine or a Tracy Randolph or Stephanie Ortiz are sitting inside of the venue where the entity is aiming directed light because they are because they're employed there. It's not changing. The condition is the same. This is revealing what is demon possession of a population where demonic activity is underway amongst the people in a government, and that demonic activity is actually serving what is a criminal system. And that obsession is exactly the same. All right, and I'm showing you what is that ongoing shared obsession that's ongoing where the entity is present in that same specific environment where there is no employment as the forum for Satan's presence. There is no ongoing business as the forum for Satan's presence. I am sleeping. Or, for example, I am inside of the bathroom where Satans are relying on the fact that they're there employed while they are still in the same exact specific environment and on behalf of the state that is stalking through their presence. By the way, the same government that's stalking by helicopters and by law enforcement. So I want to be clear. This is a vivid illustration, again, of what is stalking, obsessive stalking, which you are witnessing in videos. Do not be deceived. And it is in no way deceptive. While I'm showing you what's a fake sun that's remaining over an entrance of a building, from 8 o'clock until after 5 p.m., which, again, I already captured at the Upper Public Library after 6 p.m., the same exact location. You are witnessing the obsession by a demon-possessed entity that's engaging in what is demonic conduct, and it is serving a criminal purpose. That same demonic system is underway while I am sleeping at a museum, and that demon-possessed entity is obsessively stalking. All right, it is currently 5:29 a.m. This is Union Pacific group stalking. P.O.C. It's 5:29 a.m. And again, it is Friday, May 6, 2022. This is P.O.C. And like I stated, that's actually the sound of a musical instrument. That's not the actual sound of a train. The entity is engaging in what is entirely demonic, maintaining noise around me, doing so under what's supposed to be the guise of a train. That actually doesn't even sound like a train. And I want you to pay attention to how it gets louder and louder while Satan listens to me document. The entity engages in what is vacillating with regard to the sounds of train, the volume of the train, the duration of the sounding of the train. It's nothing other than the demonic creation of noise around me and creating that which is occurring as equally fake as the directed light, which is not sunlight. All right, the entity engages in this creation of ongoing noise while there's not even a train. And this is what the entity was doing while I was asleep. Okay, and creating just the ongoing surrounding with noise and engineered light, demonic activity, criminal monitoring, obsessive stalking. That is attributed to a company. That is Union Pacific. It is 5:30 a.m. This is P.O.C. 40645S2, that's Frontier, 7HLT280, CC904, CC9N483, I believe, paper. Molesting with light, 8YCH061, 6CRR854. Union Pacific is molesting as well. It is 8XQH872, 8X, I can't really see the rest of them. 8JUE986. And Frontier Communications drives in the farthest right lane as I'm walking north on Euclid Avenue and molests with what is directed light, while Union Pacific is amplified audible activity. The fake sun is moving north as I move north. 5UPZ268, that's sexual violence by Frontier, and the rest of the entity is monitoring as well. Then you have demons that are following one after another, touching what directed light. And this is the entity that's group stalking at the museum at 5 o'clock in the morning. License AKY1092. 5YUS271, 8UJY254, 8LLP331. 7NMM704, 8JSW141. Again, that's the company Frontier Communications, engaging in what is the identical behavioral pattern, that which is an impossible occurrence. And it is no different while a demon is not doing the same thing, driving a vehicle that happens to have a company that you can prosecute as well. 7ZVP634, and companies will be prosecuted as sex offending individuals. All right, this is what the government is doing. This is who the government is monitoring through, engaging in group stalking. 7GPS375, they will be prosecuted with regard to identifying the people of the state and reaching into companies. And you're talking about what is grounds of federal prison, what is the ongoing proceedings for what is the prosecution and accountability for sexual violence, while companies are used to engage in targeting American citizens while they're engaged in interstate stalking, criminal conduct. 7WTF951, 7XAC269, 7NHM631, 6UGX703, and it is 8:20 a.m. 7MXU425, K802PO, 6BJY680, 4MXA809, I think I read that one, if I did not, 5V93727, yeah, 6MCA280, 8TQA878, Pro Insulation Incorporated. I don't see any license plate, but that's the name of the company. That's the company name, on the front of that truck. Demonic activity, the same, directed light on the ground, as though vehicles sprinkle directed light in lines as they're driving, like it's a cartoon. 8SOL970, like it's a comic book. All right, this is the demon possessed population. 7832SO. 4JKH459, 5CKJ309, license 80269F3, 69652W2. That is, what is that? Tommy Gun. Tommy Gun's monitoring. Tommy Gun's a sex offender, engaging in terrorism with the entity. It's 8:21 a.m. 8PYM192, 8UU S504, 98927P1. I think I read this one, 8UQM633, or I recorded it on video, but they're crossing paths. I'm proceeding north on Euclid Avenue. All right, the demons that you see engaging what is criminal facilitation in that video, this is the pattern, stalking with methods of light activity. Again, they have the logo Thyssen Cup. It's a black cover over that truck, however. The license plate on the back of this truck, which is stalking the path with light, it's loitering in relevant position. 785137, which is a, let's see, Wisconsin license plate. All right, this company also engaging in what is ongoing sexual violence. While they are loitering in relevant position, facilitating the demon's ability to monitor, surrounding the perimeter with light activity, these demons and this company are being prosecuted for what is sexual violence while demons are monitoring with it, molesting 8MFJ613. The front license plate on Thyssen Krupp is YP38292, 5TGL973, 7W24042, molesting, 8HCR798. Thyssen Krupp is, there's another truck over here stalking in the path with light, 7528822, that's Wisconsin. License 7HMR932. All right, and Thyssen Krupp, it's US.1260520, MC362469. And the front license plate on this other truck, which is Thyssen Krupp, is Texas. It's R346477. Alrighty, it is 8:28 a.m. License CB 36C33. That's a paper plate on a black Jeep. License 8NGX092 7WZU275. Alrighty, and this is P.O.C. It's 8:28 a.m. I want to document those sex offenders. Monitoring and doing so through company names, Frontier Communications, a sex offender. And this is conduct on behalf of the entity. They're all engaging in sexual violence together. I'm identifying a specific actor, however, that will be prosecuted, and it's sexual violence on behalf of the entity. All right, capturing what is the identification of minions that are violent sex offenders, whom the government has no constitutional or right whatsoever to engage in stalking, monitoring, sexually violating, and terrorizing through such an entity, through such methods, if you will. The people of the state use company names, use company vehicles, use company airplanes. All right, use their own resources such as airplanes. The entity uses commercial airline planes and smaller planes, uses helicopters. Coach U.S.A. included. Let me get this license plate. It's 8:30 a.m. Vehicle 49366. And this vehicle coming to engage in molestation, license P9427030. Alrighty, that is again P9427030, Coach USA, engaging in sexual violence as well, molesting. And Amazon Prime, you already know about them. They have literally, they've done their own thing to their own company name. That demon is stalking in the path with directed light in the shade. That's how bad Amazon Prime is focused on stalking me, which I've also documented, literally revealing their demon-possessed employees who are engaging in that obsessive stalking and that demonstration of demon possession. License 44876L2. License 8YPA596. 85814R1. The Ontario Police, part of the same sexual violence while they're crossing path. That was already the case before that demon is crossing path on Hope Boulevard. They are monitoring the entire time. That's why the entity is surrounding in the specific environment. You're not driving in traffic. You're stalking. You're an obsessed stalker, and you're a demon-possessed third-party and or state group stalker and a sex offender where the specific environment is surrounding. This is the reality of that situation. That's why a fake sun is over my head exclusively. That's why I directed light. That's why they are expelling light while they're driving by. That which is supposed to be ordinary conduct is not ordinary whatsoever. Okay, it's 8:31 a.m. Alrighty, I'm aboard what is Route 83. It's bus number 1326, and the entity is flashing directed light on the bus. All right, this is the stalking with light conduct. So you're talking about outside on the sidewalks, on inside of any building, while I'm sitting on any mode of transportation, including Omnitrans, and I've documented this a wealth of times. So as this demon is opening, closing the doors, which these demons also request stops based on what I'm doing on my phone. I was reviewing my documentation. The entity is molesting with the directed light. The fake sun is out the window on me while the bus is proceeding on Euclid Avenue. And while they open and close the doors, directed light fanning on the inside of the bus. And it's also, as I've shown you, outside while the bus is driving by. Not only is that directed light, not sunlight, you're talking about what is also impossible. It's light that's occurring on the inside of the bus and on the outside of the bus. Like I said, it is stalking with light. All right, it is P.O.C. It's currently 8:43 a.m. CMB 841, I believe. It is 8:44 a.m. All right, thank you. Okay, now this is license plate 1370397, bus 1326, molesting on the inside and on the outside of the bus. And doing so with 8XTS 387, crossing path at Methodist of the Upland United Methodist, First United Methodist. That's fake. That's a fake church. Those are demons that are crossing path on the street, molesting with what is directed light at the 7-Eleven, which is a sex offender, molesting on the inside of 7-Eleven with impossible light activity. And while the bus is driving away, directed light is on the sidewalk. While I'm sitting on the bus, directed light fanning on the inside of the bus while the doors open and close. Capturing what are demons that are seated in relevant position, that is group stalking on the bus where that pattern of conduct is underway. Directed light, fake sun, and relevant positioning, ongoing audible activity creation. These are the elements of monitoring that's underway on via Omnitrans. And it's the same bus operator that was present yesterday and the day before yesterday. 6YMH644, and he's captured on video. 8RVF023. And he is repeating the same exact sexual violence and terrorism. And that's prosecuted as what is an impermissible threat as well. The entity, the totality of that entity is monitoring documentation. And the very sexual violence that they engage in is also how these demons show hostility. So they engage in the impermissible threat while they are monitoring your documentation. All right, they engage in an impermissible threat while they engage in that which you are documenting about them. Like I said, everything about the pattern of conduct is resulting in what is federal prison. 7JXP379, 6YMH644. It is currently 8:46 a.m. at 7-Eleven. All right, the entity flashing directed light in the direction that I'm looking inside of the 7-Eleven, and this is at the fountain drink area. And these are demons that are group stalking inside of the 7-Eleven. All right, and in every way, as I document, you're witnessing the obsessive stalking conduct by a people, and these are a bunch of demons. There is no sense of normalcy whatsoever. I'm breaking down their entire system, the entire construct, and these are freak, obsessed stalkers, and the entity is maintaining flashing light inside of the 7-Eleven while they're stalking. All right, it is 8:48 a.m. Alrighty, monitoring, group stalking. This is license 42555Y1, 6SOU565, 5BAY900. Eight NQW311, 8SMF383, 6KZE202, 86303B3. These are the demons that are outside of the 7-Eleven while the entity's aiming directed light, flashing light inside of the venue. 8XTG543. 5MIC 452. 8LQE733. 6WRM402. 8NPC628. These are demons group stalking at what is the First United Methodist, a non-church, where demonic activity is underway. And these are the demons, the psychopaths, the group stalking sex offenders who like to engage in monitoring while they're holding children. All right, psychopaths that are in the custody of children while they're monitoring somebody else. And those children are in no way any persuasive form for anything other than the same exact P.O.C. You're just engaging in criminal conduct and sexual violence and demonic activity with a child. It's 8:57 a.m. and this is the entity dragging directed light across this unholy grounds of this fake church. All right, while they're walking kids into the venue, crossing path. Okay, fake sun is right over me, and it's 8:57 a.m. License 7JYH130, 7KKS 713, 6TXD 203, 8SGN 505, BFTM 005, stalking with light, CC84W58, group stalking with directed light across the fake church. Okay, they're a bunch of demons. I read that one, and that is again 8ETM 005. Yeah, 8UVB 800. 5ZGN 160, 8P97056, 8PJX 264, 6ZLD 230. License 9AKZ 122. This minion engaging in surveillance. She's group stalking. You can see this demon's face while she's crossing path, and the fake sun is over me, sitting in her vehicle as I begin to approach, exiting her vehicle, which is still the same crossing and path contact. 8YCG365, license FR921, handicap 5PLZ448. And this demon's license plate, who I'm capturing a close-up image of a demon-possessed group stalker wearing scrubs. This female, who is engaging in criminal conduct monitoring and is of that very specific condition. While this directed light is ongoing, she's engaging in surveillance, sitting in her Nissan SUV at the end of the street at 1st Avenue and C Street. And this is where she is monitoring while that light activity is ongoing, as I'm describing it moments earlier. She's in relevant position, group stalking. Gets out of the vehicle, walks into the venue where she's working. That's where she works, at a venue where surveillance is underway, and demons work there, where criminal surveillance with the state is underway ceaselessly, unhindered. 6WIT288 is that demon's license plate. And that demon's image is captured up close. It is currently 9 a.m. 6NMC175. 6NUE362, 8JSL453, 8FFF348, 8UNV778. 6WRM402 is crossing path again. All right, license 349073 is stalking in the path with light activity. Monitoring with the demons inside of the parking lot of the Upland Public Library, the Upland City Hall. A demon's using a large truck with their hazards on. This is facilitation where demons such as 8XTG543 cross path with directed light monitoring. 6TXD203, the same. Molly Supers in relevant position, monitoring with that demonic form of light activity creation. License 27803Y1, 8ZGL572. 7FNX871. And again, Molly Super is monitoring. The Upland City Hall is monitoring, obviously, as well. The San Bernardino County Fire Department, the Carnegie Library, those are the things that are the shoe company, SCHEU company. They're in relevant position. I documented the fireplace, sales center at the intersection on 2nd Avenue, the fake sun directly over my head. Don't forget that. That was before daylight savings time, but you're talking about what is still relevant. You would push it for an hour, and so that's relevant to what the entity is doing right now with the fake sun. That's ongoing existing documentation. 8LXL613 is monitoring with this demon that's stalking in the path in the parking lot nearest the Upland City Hall parking lot area. License 6VWM835. Let me show you the demons at Molly Super. License 8UVB800, molesting. And Molly Super is in relevant position, and that's why a fake sun at 9:02 a.m., where I am in Pomona, for example, at 9:03 a.m., capturing the demon-possessed Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. 8ZFE592, demon-possessed the same, where directed light is occurring in Los Angeles under the fake sun at the Pomona Transit Center. I'm actually across the street from the Transit Center at the little cafe where those demons are stalking in the path. That is not over Molly Super. These are a bunch of demons sitting inside, and they're engaging in sexual violence while they're sitting inside of Molly Super.
that's exactly how the how this venue, how the people of the state shall be prosecuted. All right. There's nothing that you're doing eating pancakes, cooking pancakes, driving in relevant position in the specific environment. 8ZFE592 is patrolling and directed light spewing all around while they are patrolling and engaging in that conduct. It is currently 9:03 a.m. Alrighty, capturing this sex offender who's pacing back and forth, touching with directed light. 7X34773, walking to, again, the venue of what is the Molly Super, getting out of their vehicle, monitoring while the demon is, again, the ongoing flashing light inside of the City Hall parking lot. And this demon, who in particular, I'm capturing close-up images of her while she's sitting in her vehicle. She's driving back and forth under the fake sun. That's a demon that's pacing. And they're doing that. They're pacing an engineered light. And in addition to that, that demon is manifesting light, directed light, like it's in a comic book, lines of directed light spewing all around the asphalt while she's pacing around me. And then you have a male that gets out of her car who was crossing path. I capture his image. I capture close-up images of the demon driving that vehicle. That is a female. And I'm also capturing images of the license plate of the demon that's going in the opposite direction, monitoring together, engaging in sexual violence together around Molly Super, the third-party facilitating venue where the fake sun is over, that venue, and it is nowhere in Pomona, California, by the way. It is 7FNX871, and Pomona, California is only one example of what is the same time where the entity is keeping a fake sun over me. So it is 9:05 a.m., 7UQK400, 8UVB769, 8L51016, 8RBU118, 6CWT450, 72318B2. And with regard, by the way, where I'm referencing Pomona, California, I was there March 22nd, 2022. These are time frames of where I'm in an entirely distinct location of what would supposedly be the sun is not over Molly Super at the same time, or it's over my head in the same central manner, nor creating any of this light activity under any circumstances, even if that was unsubstantiated with evidence of what's not the sun, the directed light conduct by demons who are monitoring in that environment. AVQW019 is at the Upland Unified School District, stalking in the parking lot using their vehicle to stalk in the path with light. X326HO, 8WOY 461, 8PEM 638, 8UFH 709, 7YJP 350, 8NCU 972, 6ADN 148, 8UOV 083, JOUEZ Heart, 8UFK 250. 8NDT 680, 8XIS 625, BG74A80 paper, 8UTB 639, 7ZAF 142, CC69T74, 7LCW 863, MVIKNGS 8YWF 391, 8MXE 587. I think it's 7VJX 838, 7VXX 688. 8RMU 752 4640Y handicap, 8WOL 920, 7V, I read that one, 7MIH 663, 7WBX 114, 7ZKH 513, 7MUP 376, 8XIS 625, 8FNS 309, 8AOJ 687, and the Upland Unified School District staff. This is the license plate that I read already, crossing path, and while doing so, maintaining presence while I'm walking through this little area of the parking lot that they have on the Upland Unified School District, and directed light, this demon that is on the staff of the Upland Unified School District is engaging in the pattern of conduct while they're pulling into their reserved parking spot on the grounds under the fake sun and directed light. This is a demon that is manifesting light all over the cars. They are monitoring while they are driving by, crossing path at that very precise moment on purpose to engage in the P.O.C. And on purpose is speaking to not you're seeking to arrive at work on time. It's on purpose while it is under the fake sun and impossible light activity like a laser is moving across all the vehicles whose license plate I just read. Okay, there are a bunch of demons sitting inside of the Upland Unified School District, and they were filling this area right here. While you hear amplified train activity, that's amplification. And that amplification of train activity, which will be attributed to Metrolink, is at 9:07 a.m. Metrolink is armed with surveillance cameras as well. That's the Upland Station, 8LPV 707. which again is not going to actually be heard, and it's also not going to be heard at that volume. That's amplification while demons are surrounding me while I'm documenting, and necessarily so, all right, justly so, the demons of the Upland Unified School District, this parking area. One demon engaging in that conduct is the identification of all of them. They're the same condition. Directed lights, hitting your car outside of the venue, the fake sun over. They're all demons, okay? Pathetic stalkers. That's why the light source is here, and this is the ability for demonic activity to remain underway while Satan uses a people and a government. And again, this Upland Unified School District, this is the administration building located at 390 Euclid Avenue in Upland, California. Upland Unified School District, speaking to what is custody, influence, exercising of control of children. Alrighty, and just speaking to what is criminal conduct, not the fact that many of their own little Minionite children are of that same exact condition, but like I stated, this is relevant to what is the prosecution for criminal conduct, not any sort of baptism trying to save anybody. 8DDH 401, 6WSB 531, TIMA 89, 8UTA 346, 5DER 479, 6XJB 482, 6ZWT 711, 21363C 8ZAB 050, 8XHW 089, 8YMY 209, 85187D3, 45065V2, 8UYM 853, 8EEK 730, 8TEZ 289, 7RXS 894. It's 9:10 a.m. Patrolling at the 1st Avenue and D Street intersection. Demons pacing 7MIC 111, 8TDZ 286, 7CJP 013. That's a demon of the Upland Public Library. MOLLABE. 7AXC 737, 8WGN 268, 7GTD 628. 8ETA 436, 6SMU 792, BV10X25, 5WSB 861, 7L11660, 8MUS 154, 28YZ 1MS, 2BYZ 1MS, 6VAH 356, CC90 and 43 is paper, and I read that one. 6G84917. License 7GTD628, 8REF433, 6VDA924, 8RJA009. 7349282. That is the third party that is creating a light activity, stalking in the path with flashing light. That's massive facilitation. While an ongoing sex offense, there are a bunch of demons that are monitoring. Fake sun is over and you're stalking in the path with light activity. All right, that's the pattern of conduct. 8M14212, 7NWV442. This is the demon. 8XFT365, directed light while they're driving under the carport at the Upland City Hall. 8K14398, 74728W2. That's Brightview, a demon stalking with audible activity, by the way. License 6MJM989. That's Brightview. License 6MJM989. This is audible activity by demons who are monitoring. This is what group stalking is about. That's a leaf blower under the fake sun and in directed light. That's P.O.C. License 7UDL161. Alrighty, capturing a group stalker that's hiding in the backseat of a vehicle. And what you're also going to pay attention to is, first of all, the fake sun is over me, and Brightview is indeed creating audible activity while a demon is group stalking in the parking lot, sitting in the backseat of the vehicle with license 6ML. I can't really see it from here, but this is the license plate I already cited. They're monitoring with Brightview, okay? These are demons with leaf blowers, okay? The demons are patrolling the light activity that I already documented. This demon in the parking lot of the Upland City Hall with flashing lights. and the fake sun is over my head. I'm standing under the carport, however, in what is supposedly the shade. But what is the pattern of conduct? Stalking with light, invading with that light, doing so in what is an entirely demonic method. There is no way to do that. That act in and of itself of invading with light, maintaining light, where it looks like it's shade, but it's actually not light. You can see what is an ongoing appearance of a shadow, even in what's supposedly shade. That's demonic. It's called stalking with light. And this is a demon that's in the backseat of a vehicle that's parked in the parking lot of the Upland City Hall, while this maintenance of flashing light, audible activity, the fake sun, and molestation with directed light while demons are pacing around in their vehicles. I captured what is my shadow that's appearing underneath the carport in the shade of the it's on the vehicle of this demon who was group stalking in the back seat of this vehicle that's parked in the parking lot. This is a Caucasian woman, operation of her communication device. This is a demon that is furiously monitoring with these demons who are using leaf blowers. This is a sex offender that is Brightview, license 54991J1, monitoring with that demon that's in the back seat. And that demon in the back seat represents the people of the state, engaging in group stalking conduct and captured in what is that impossible and very specific environment while I'm being molested while standing in the shade. So I showed you what's above me, the carport. I showed you what's behind me. You're looking at shade on the ground. I'm showing you what's in front while there is that shade, and then there's the shadow that's appearing outside of the shade. But I also have a shadow that's appearing on this vehicle where I am standing in the shade. Impossible light activity, a molestation. That sex offender is identified by license plate, and I'll remind you again. It's currently 9:16 a.m. and this is around the time I captured. That's license 6MJM989. Brightview is a sex offender. The San Bernardino County Fire Department are monitoring. This is ongoing facilitation as they act as an entity, light activity, directed light, audible activity, group stalking sitting in the backseat of a car in the parking lot, and doing so while I'm being molested while standing in the shade. That's the conduct of the sex offender and the obsessive stalker that stalks by helicopter, stalks at 5 o'clock in the morning, stalking when I'm sleeping, stalking in bathroom stalls. Okay? 74728W2. And again, this sex offender, license 7349282, loitering in relevant position, creating light activity the entire time on surveillance cameras and driving off with directed light, and they'll be prosecuted the same. I'm showing you the people of the state that are in the backseat of a car in a parking lot with a fake sun over my head and molesting with directed light while I'm in the shade. That sex offender has been, as I documented while I was standing over in the parking lot of the Upland the Upland City, not the Upland City Hall, the Upland Unified School District, across from MALICIOUS, where they're molesting. That demon with the flashing light that I pointed out a while ago has been engaged in loitering, and as I'm documenting Brightview, as I'm documenting the sex offense of the ongoing molestation, they are engaging in what is facilitation of all of the above, loitering in relevant position, and a psychopath that's listening to every word. And I want to document 9:17 a.m. is when this demon drives off, and that's, of course, as I am approaching and likely to capture an up-close image of that demon's face. I don't need it. You're talking about what is an entity? You're talking about I captured the up-close image of this demon that is entirely pathetic, crouching in a backseat, stalking, monitoring. That's exactly what you see. And I'm showing the light activity. There is no question about what that demon is doing, and the way in which they're doing it is entirely pathetic, and it's terrorism, though. You're witnessing that desperation. All right, that desperation, that ongoing criminal determination, that absolutely demented and very highly depraved pattern of conduct on behalf of a government, equally desperate, equally demented, stalking in helicopters, stalking through the people who are in bathroom stalls, demons who know exactly what I am doing while I'm asleep, as I wake up, while my panties are up, while my panties are down. Okay, this is that sex offender, and that is that ongoing obsessive stalking, and that is attributed to what are companies such as Brightview. It is currently 9:18 a.m. This is P.O.C. at the Upland Public Library, where the fake sun remains, just like I showed you yesterday at an earlier time. And the entity is engaging in keeping that fake sun over me in the route that I'm walking. So again, I walked on Euclid Avenue. The fake sun being over my head on Euclid Avenue is not going to be squarely above my head as I'm walking on First Avenue in front of MALICIOUS. You see it directly over MALICIOUS, not directly over the Upland Unified School District while I'm walking on Euclid Avenue, in between the Upland Public Library and the Upland Unified School District, as I captured at 9:25 in the morning yesterday, which I was reminding you about my presence on Route 83 at 9:25 in the morning yesterday, which is an impossible coexisting occurrence. It's not occurring at the same time. And that's what's relevant. That's why I bring that up, because if it's the sun, and you're talking about what is not over Eucalyptus Avenue and Edison, it's not over Central Avenue at the Ruben S.I.I.S Park at 9:25, it being the sun, it's not over there. It's directly over my head. And you are talking about what is an unmistakable presence of that light source. And the sun is not an omnipresent, like all ubiquitously present light source that's maintaining central presence over your head, but not just at that moment. You're talking about what's for the duration of the day. That's not what the sun is. That's not what the sun does. And that is in conflict with what are scientific facts that support my documentation revealing what is an abnormal and unnatural environment. That abnormality, that unnatural character is speaking to what is equally, well, not even equally, even more so, fully identified through those who are in that environment with knowledge for a criminal purpose, which is the ongoing act of public corruption. While demons are engaging in an identical pattern, demons are present, stalking in that environment, which is also the identification of the condition of those in that environment, and that is demon possession. You know literally what is going on with them with regard to what you cannot physically perceive, but they are in that demonic environment and they are of that condition, demon possession. And not only that, which is relevant to the ways in which you are going to be able to prosecute a government. Because not only is it terrorism while government is stalking because it's monitoring you, it's also terrorism while government is stalking while monitoring through a people. It is further acts of terrorism and fully intended to be a terrorizing ongoing act while the entity engages in the elements of monitoring, as I have revealed it to you, what the entity does while it is stalking, while monitoring you, and also doing so in such demonic methods, all of which is relevant to that prosecution. So like I stated, it is currently 9:21 a.m. And so the light source is remaining over now. What is the veterans area in front of the Upper Public Library, exactly where I stood yesterday at 8:50 in the morning. I stood here at what is, before a daylight savings time, I've been stood here at 9:27 in the morning, which would be 10:27 in the morning during daylight savings time. This was captured before. By the way, daylight savings time started March 13, 2022. All right, so pay attention to the details, because all I'm using are literally what is the rules that allegedly surround the environment and how the environment works, and with regard to what's the sun, you can use those very rules, and it's going to serve for the prosecution. All right, because this is revealing what is not the natural environment, what is an impossible occurrence, and that impossibility is a reference to the demonic. I'm showing you that demonic activity is underway. It is that which is in defiance to what is scientifically, supposedly, the scientific evidence of our the operation of the environment that we're surrounded by. Okay, well, this is not in accordance with that, meaning what I'm documenting with regard to the environment, not only the directed light, that is readily established. That's not sunlight on any day, okay? And that in and of itself is revealing what is an abnormal environment in the first place, and speaking to what is serving a very real purpose. That abnormal and impossible light activity is serving a very real purpose, and I'm pointing that out to you. It's also occurring where the entity is engaging in what is stalking in incredible manners by a people who are engaging in that conduct. That's not a coincidence that they are present while that's occurring. It's occurring at the same time that they're engaging in their presence. That's directly tied to these people all over, wherever it is that I go. It doesn't matter where it is that I am. That which is an impossible occurrence, a highly unnatural and improbable occurrence occurring over and over again, while the entity is engaged in documenting on what is nothing other than described legally as stalking. All right. And so the ability to document what is an incredible method of following around. And so you don't have just one or two occurrences. You have what is stalking, and stalking by helicopter, stalking by police. And that's a matter of objective evidence. I have just been able to document what is stalking in unheard of methods. And it's actually not unheard of. It's just that the criminal system of group stalking has been unjustly maintained as a fallacy, first of all. And also, you're talking about what is sought to remain unknown. So by maintaining this fallacy that group stalking is not real, that is seeking to obstruct justice in and of itself. Group stalking is not only real, it's the work of Satan. All right. And it's the work of Satan that's executed by government. It's not just a bunch of weird people that are in a cult. It's not any individual. It's an entity. It's group conduct. It's the minions of Satan. The minions of Satan happen to be through the state, a public entity, the state of California. All right. It's very specific. And it's not only is it not a fallacy, it's very serious criminal conduct by a government, placing American citizens, because that's the context, that's where I'm at. That's just speaking to geography. All right. But this is demonic activity that is underway, and I'm showing you what is actually the demonic formula, because wherever you are at, based on the environment that the entity is utilizing, that the entity is literally the entity by both entity, I mean this entity that's engaging in the criminal system, literally the people of the state and the state of California, but also Satan itself, the demon-possessed entity that is the state of California, that is the people of the state. Demon possession is what surrounds. Obsessive, demonic stalking conduct. Stalking with noise, stalking around the path physically as a group, and stalking with light. Absolutely the work of Satan. This is demon possession. This is demonic activity. It is also the criminalization of it because the entity is engaging in what is interstate stalking. They're monitoring with communication devices while this demonic activity is underway. And that is going all the way down to the ways in which you're witnessing demonic activity amongst the people. These people use commercial vehicles. They're using companies, or they're using their public establishments. They're using wherever it is that they live. And by the way, where the government's engaging in state surveillance, as I've stated, the system of group stalking is not limited to where you live, and that's a matter of what is absolutely absurd with regard to achieving justice and acquiring justice. It's not limited to where some demon-possessed third-party group stalker who is stalking in the path with light, creating light activity where they live, stalking with audible activity creation where they live. The light source is directly over a minion where they live, and the entity is flying over you, stalking you by helicopter where a demon-possessed third-party group stalker lives. No. There is, first of all, that's just common sense. You're not going to stop at the doors of some minion. Yes, you are documenting wherever it is the people of the state live with regard to the ordinary target individual. But like I said, you don't even have to document thousands and thousands of people. I'm establishing precedent. I have established precedent, I've already established precedent. The entity isn't, but for informational purposes, there is no corner where any demon is hiding, and whether they can deny their demon possession or not, it really doesn't matter. It's not a matter of what is some argument that's occurring in some religious esoteric discussion. It's a matter of objective evidence. The directed light, my shadow appearing in the shade, a light source that is not possibly the sun, as a matter of scientific facts. Directed light, which is not sunlight under any circumstances whatsoever, which is an ongoing, recurring event, no matter where I go, documented for a prolonged term of years, is the direct evidence of what is entirely demonic. In other words, in defiance with what are scientific facts. This is not how the environment works. This is nothing in conformity with what is supposedly the natural environment. It is in defiance. It is in conflict with what is the way that nature and science, for example, demonstrates that the environment operates. All right, light operates, the element of light. All right, this is speaking to what is, again, in conflict with science / synonymous with demonic activity. And the demonic activity is underway by the demon-possessed. The demon-possessed are engaging in what is entirely criminal. And not only are they criminals, they are criminals who are exceedingly violent sex offenders. And everything about their conduct, their desperate criminal conduct, they're engaging in obsessive stalking conduct. It's fully revealed. When you're understanding the environment you're in, the conduct that they seek to engage in, the substantive value of what it is that you are around. Hearing those leaf blowers is audible activity under the fake sun and directed light and amplified audible activity. It's group stalking. By the way, further provided context by the stalking activity of the state as it acts directly, stalking by the entity that likes to use helicopters, airplanes, police officers, fire departments, and ambulance. That is occurring amongst that ongoing stalking activity. That's group stalking. Everything that you hear and see is serving that criminal system. So anyway, it's currently 9:28 a.m. and just speaking to what the entity is doing with it, which is in no way in conformity. It's very easy to document what is stalking with an environment that is unnaturally occurring, because that unnatural occurrence it stands out like a sore thumb when you, for example, go to what is like I have gone to Rancho Cucamonga, gone to Montclair, California, gone to Chino, California, gone into Fontana, California. I haven't referenced it, but I've gone to San Bernardino, California. The entity keeping the fake sun over the courthouse in San Bernardino. This is a documentation that is already published. It's already in existence. This is not seeking to establish the P.O.C. The P.O.C. is established. I am revealing there is no exception. Every third party, and I'm revealing them, I'm referring to them and the way that they are. These are demons. It's not up for debate. It's not even part of what is any legally relevant argument, because you're not going to be in court talking about, I'm not a demon. You're not addressing the criminal case. This isn't about that. You're stalking. You're stalking in a specific environment, which is what the government's pattern of conduct establishes. And that pattern of conduct is fully established. And that pattern of conduct is, in other words, that which is ongoing on a ceaseless basis. The people of the state of California in every corner, wherever they are subject to prosecution with that state that is engaging in stalking. in this manner, and this manner happens to be what is a satanic manner. Now, what is relevant with regard to the manner in which the entity is engaging in what is a criminal pattern of conduct of interstate stalking with the people of the state is they're using demonic methods which are intended to exceed the criminal motive for intimidation, harassment, or injury, which is existing federal law. This is exceeding that. The demonic methods, the satanic methods that the entity is utilizing to place one under surveillance in violation of existing federal law is that which exceeds that. It is that which is serving to terrorize. It is terrorism. Okay, and it is not only the methods is terrorizing, but the very fact that the government is placing you under surveillance, the government that is placing you under surveillance with the people of the state is terrorism. And the let me be clear, the demonic and / satanic methods employed is a direct indication of your condition. Okay, the fake sun is remaining over me everywhere that I'm going. And so what logically follows with regard to what is establishing a pattern, a well-documented pattern, an unmistakable pattern. Okay, you have a pattern of conduct that's underway. So with regard to that pattern that's established, like any other pattern, the pattern is such that wherever it is that I go, including Northern California, some corner in, some corner in, let's say, like I've referenced before, somewhere I've never been, Madeira, California, some corner. This is the pattern of conduct. The entity, as I've gone to farther out, for example, I don't go to Palmdale every day, but I did go to Palmdale and I documented it. And what did the entity do? Kept a light source that is not possibly the sun. When the entity is keeping the sun over the Upland Public Library entrance from, as I documented yesterday, 8:50 in the morning, 5:35 p.m. I stepped out. Documentation already exists after 6 p.m. at that same entryway, walking out. There is no possibility that the sun, while that light source is hovering at that location in alignment with me, unmistakable with the light activity that surrounds, that's where it's at. That is not the sun that is at the same time over me in that same exact position while I'm in Lancaster, en route to Lancaster / Palmdale, where I documented that though. That's the pattern. So you're talking about what is the prosecution of a people while the entity is engaging in this pattern, and there is no exception to it. That's what the pattern establishes. No matter where you go, the entity is stalking with an entire environment, and that environment is a scientific impossibility. That is serving for the prosecution of the people. In the same way that the entity is engaging in molestation and terrorism with directed light, that is serving for the prosecution of the people. In the same way that the entity is group stalking directly by a helicopter, that is serving for the prosecution of the people. It is done in concert with the people of the state. And wherever it is that the target individual goes, this environment, which is a scientific impossibility, remains. And that's not just under the fake sun, that's at night as well. Directed light remains. Shadows surrounding your body, that's engineered light. That's a demonic environment. That's ongoing facilitation for what is surveillance that you're subject to. And it is occurring amongst those who are demon possessed. That demon possession is a matter of evidence, which is not any grounds for any legally relevant debate in a court. Because we're not talking about your demon possession. By the way, it's evidence through what is this demonic light. But you're not addressing what's the legal case. The legal case is the fact that you're subject to surveillance in this well-documented pattern of conduct. That's why that engineered light is present. You are in relevant position. That is prosecution as a group stalker, period. And that's for the people of the state. So I just want to break that down. The entity is doing so through what are company names. Where the government is engaging in the pattern of conduct through the people of the state utilize their companies, their businesses. They use their resources to engage in that P.O.C. And justice shall provide for what is the prosecution of such companies while they're engaging in terrorism, interstate stalking, criminal conduct, and sexual violence while that criminal conduct is underway. That is serving for what is not only criminal prosecution, but what is also civil proceedings, draining the pockets of those companies that are engaging in that while they are in the U.S., the state of California, terrorizing an American citizen in concert and on behalf of a government. And so indeed, as I stated, the people of the state are not individuals. They are acting as an entity vicariously. They are also acting under company names. And understand, Mary Jo Smith represents the people of the state engaging in criminal conduct on behalf of the people of the state. Amazon Prime represents the people of the state engaging in criminal conduct on behalf of the people of the state. A company name identifying the people of the state. An individual's license plate identifying the people of the state. Engaging in criminal conduct attributed to the people of the state who are the vicarious actor. That's the system of group stalking. And that's how you are prosecuting an entity that's engaging in what is the gang stalking, group stalking system which is nothing other than a bullying system, and that is turning it on its head. While the entity engages in that group conduct, that same group conduct is serving to prosecute every aspect of that entity that's placing you under surveillance and sexually violating you and terrorizing you and harassing you, okay? And doing so as an entity. And so that's the significance of the sexual violence by Frontier Communications, by Thyssen Cup, who is stalking with light activity, which is the pattern everywhere that I'm going. They're doing so in the specific environment. Those are demons that are creating flashing light. Flashing light is light activity. Light activity is a method of what is visible activity surrounding with light. This is the ongoing demonic purposes by an entity that's engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring on behalf of, in concert with the state, present on behalf of that state that's stalking incessantly by helicopter. This is the entity, this is the entity that is acting through those who I'm identifying by company name, license plate, images, addresses, okay? Everything, while I'm documenting and revealing the minions of the companies that are engaging in this satanic system, because that needs to be a matter of public information. But again, that federal prosecution accomplishes that on an even more massive level. And again, supplementary documentation is also, again, the entity that's placing you under surveillance is also documented through what are surveillance cameras everywhere that you're going. And so this is a very instrumental method of prosecution and documentation, and also understanding demonic activity. Because what the entity is doing, not just in front of the target individual, their monitoring is underway amongst, this is a radius. The entity is engaging in massive, obsessive stalking, okay? These are the minions of Satan, as though they are engaging in what is marching around the fort, around the targeted individual. They're a bunch of demons. They're doing so. They're not carrying what are large bazooka guns doing so. They're driving around in their vehicles in that ongoing environment, maintaining an ongoing heavily manned, by heavily manned, I mean that's the group stalking conduct. They're maintaining presence, and they're also seeking to do so while they are at work, okay? While they're engaging in whatever activity, which is maintaining the elements of monitoring. You're present, engaging in work, or engaging in construction, engaging in what is present as a patron, whatever it is that they're doing. These are demons that are engaging in what is heavy duty stalking. And it is a matter of public corruption as it seeks to and fails, because I'm revealing what is a strip down of this entire system. And that's how you're looking at what is a psychopath. Okay. And you're talking about what is the entity engaging in massive, heavy duty, obsessive stalking, while engaging in what is seeking to appear as what is normal day, everyday life, everyday normal society in California. And it is a system of group stalking. Anyway, it's currently 9:37 a.m. and this is P.O.C. at the Upland Public Library, where the entity is group stalking. And that is the iteration of the P.O.C. as I'm on the bus coming from Ontario, and the entity keeping a fake sun as I walk on First Avenue from the 7-Eleven today, as opposed to walk on Euclid Avenue, and the entity keeping it fake, and the entity keeping its fake sun. Again, all of this in Upland, California, none of this coexisting with being over me on a bus while I'm en route to Fontana, while I'm en route to Chino, California, while I'm en route to Rancho Cucamonga, remaining in those respective locations, as I've already documented. And those are just a few examples. Heavily documented pattern of what is maintaining an environment, stalking with an environment. You are stalking with an environment, and you're stalking with the people. That's what the state of California is doing. It's 9:38 a.m. and this is P.O.C. Group stalking by the employees, which they are always engaging in group stalking. They are engaging in what is loitering in a relevant position in front of the study room that I'm in, study room number 1, the same exact directed light, the same exact amplified audible activity as though they're standing right next to me, creating noise on the book stacks. You're looking at what is the entity that is at 10:50 a.m. I'm showing you the still images of what is directed light, what is group stalking by employees of the Upland Public Library who are also monitoring. It's the same exact pattern of conduct. They are engaging in what is their job working here, engaged in that same obsessive stalking activity on behalf of the state that's stalking by planes, helicopters, amplifying audible activity. And their amplification, these demons, are facing a bookshelf while they are stalking inside of the venue of the Upland Public Library. And no status as an employee inside of a facilitating venue is any different than what is the same exact group stalking conduct and demonic activity. It's 10:51 a.m. You're looking at what is group stalking. That's what I'm capturing, and doing so in concert with the minions who are in study rooms, as I'm showing you, the African male, the bald-headed minion, he's monitoring. The
Asian female. She's in study room number 3, monitoring. And while they're engaging in what is the same demonic behavioral pattern, while a demon faces their visual focus on something other than me while they are stalking. Okay, that's a psychopath. They are engaging in nothing other than the pattern of conduct, and they are engaged in what is that obsessive stalking. And that obsession is noted by what is the presence of that environment, the impossible placement of what is light inside of the venue, the directed light that I'm capturing, which the entity keeps inside of the venue for the duration of the entire business day. An impossibility, not sunlight, and also not sunlight by virtue of what is the maintenance of a light source over an entirely different city in the same position, central over my head, even over a building where I'm in an entirely different city, and remaining also at that other location, as I've demonstrated in Fontana and Chino, California, and Montclair, California, etc., and on public transportation at this time, remaining in Ontario, etc. This is the P.O.C. And so I want to speak to that pattern of conduct that the employees are engaging in. Maintaining presence in front of me at the bookshelves. I'm inside of study room number 1, it's P.O.C. It's 10:52 a.m. It is nothing other than the maintenance of noise, relevant positioning, and stalking with that noise, meaning you're engaging in what is the creation of noise with simultaneity to what I'm doing on the internet and my physical movements. Demons engage in that conduct. Okay, that's me plugging in my phone, and this demon that is keeping their back to me is stalking with audible activity, fully aware of what I'm doing. All right, this is the demon, for example, like I documented at 5 in the morning, the demon that is sitting, stalking at the museum, knows exactly that the moment that I've awakened, the moment that I begin taking pictures, I am quiet in my sleeping bag, and would create no alarm to anybody that is not focused on me. But again, this is the reality of what our demons that know exactly what I'm doing and are stalking while they're looking in another direction, which is no persuasive form for stalking. A demon that is stalking, knowing what I'm doing inside of the study room on the laptop, okay? Plugging in my phone, and you're hearing what's the use of a book stack while she's wiping off the book stacks, adjusting the book stacks. It's ongoing noise creation. All right, which is also abnormally loud. Okay, I want to be clear. It is sounding as though she's in the study room with me. And this is demonic activity also, as I'm revealing it, I'm breaking this down. But this is what is the group stalking system. The group stalking conduct is demonic activity. It's 10:55 a.m.
The African male is patrolling in and out of study room number 2, crossing path. They're monitoring together with this Caucasian female who is keeping her focus on the book stack visibly. She is focused on me. This is a demon that's monitoring, and they're all monitoring together. This is the state that's acting through the people. And the people are inside of a venue monitoring together. These are the employees group stalking at the Upland Public Library. They engage in the same conduct while my panties are down in the bathroom, and they engage in what is pacing back and forth around that bathroom, opening and closing doors, which is amplified inside of the bathroom, with simultaneity to what I'm doing inside of that private space. It's 10:59 a.m.
It's 11:03 a.m. Alrighty, you're understanding what is the concentration of presence and alignment, and this is occurring in what is that specific environment. For example, as I cited the time, 10:59 a.m. It can give you a very vivid example of what is not the sun that is possibly over, speaking to the obsessive stalking conduct of this demon who was using a bookshelf to appear as though they're focused on that when this is the reality. Their condition is all which you are deducing from the evidence of an impossible environment, meaning at 10:59 a.m., this is daylight savings time. The light source is directly over the Upland Public Library, which is a matter of long document. This is what the entity is doing. I'm here. The light source is directly over the roof while I'm inside. As I step outside, it's directly over the entrance over my head, and it does so until the end of the day. This is mutually exclusive. By the way, 10:59 a.m., for example, very vivid placement of the light source in what is a natural location directly above the window inside of the computer lab of the Fontana Lewis Library at 10:58 a.m. This is March 30th, I believe, 2022. I documented where the entity is group stalking via Burtech, the maintenance of what is noise, an impossible creation of noise, while that company engaging in demonic conduct, group stalking, is emptying trash outside of the library. And this is creating what is the vibration of the desk partition inside. And I capture video as I look outside of that window, and you see what's supposed to be the sun hovering right above that windowsill facing Arrow Boulevard in Fontana, California, while I'm inside of the venue of the Fontana Lewis Library. The entity is keeping a fake sun over the roof of the Upland Public Library at the same exact time that I'm documenting the maintenance of what is supposedly the sun, clearly over a window inside of the Fontana Lewis Library, directly over my head. And you also are looking at what is not sunlight, as directed light is sprawled out across the roof, the ceiling on the inside of that Fontana Lewis Library, as I'm capturing the demonic behavioral pattern by the people of the state. This is this Caucasian female who was a demon stalking with activity. It is amplified, meaning while you were wiping down a bookshelf, it's actually not ordinarily going to be heard inside of the study room. It is actually not going to be creating any sort of disturbance inside of the study room, but you are understanding what are the magnification of sound and the engineered light. This is the ongoing formula: noise, engineered light, presence. This is group stalking, the elements of monitoring light, activity, and relevant positioning. And you are doing so under what is not possibly the sun that is over your venue. At the same time, for example, when I am not only inside of the Fontana Lewis Library at 10:59 a.m. I have even documented that same exact time as I remain, for example, in Rancho Cucamonga and standing at the Victoria Gardens, the Victoria Arbors Apartments on Day Creek at 10:58 a.m., 10:59 a.m., where the light source is directly over my head. And the entity is molesting with what is directed light as I'm standing outside. The same exact pattern of conduct. Directed light is across the roof inside of the Fontana Lewis Library. Directed light across my person while the people of the state are group stalking in Rancho Cucamonga. And directed light is placed inside of this Upland Public Library, covering the grounds, which you see in the images where I'm capturing where this demon is loitering in the path, creating ongoing noise while she's pacing back and forth in relevant position. And the fake sun is over the venue of the Upland Public Library, because that's supposed to be the visible presence of what's the sun and that's sunlight. And this is not the case. This is the demonic behavioral pattern of criminal monitoring by a demon-possessed entity. And this is an absolute psychopath. This same exact pattern of conduct underway while demons are stalking. Again, the ongoing knowledge of what I'm doing as I'm doing it occurs in a bathroom. That is the picture of the sex offender. And this is the employee monitoring with those who are of the same condition, maintaining presence that is engaging in surveillance inside of the Upland Public Library, where that which is not possibly the sun remains over the roof. where that which is not possibly sunlight remains placed inside of the venue, or that which is an amplified level of noise, which is also documentation of what is harassment by an entity engaging in federal stalking, while they are also monitoring the documentation. That's an all-encompassing body of evidence of revealing what is a psychopath. This is the same entity that's molesting with directed light while I'm walking outside Frontier Communications. The same exact entity that's inside of the Open Public Library monitoring. The entity that is engaging in what is methods of what is placement, presence in the path on behalf of that entity. That same entity that I captured at 9:45 a.m. flying over the Open Public Library not a commercial airline plane, but a small white plane at 9:45, where at that same time, my documented presence is in Montclair, California. And at the same exact time, it is not possibly the case that the sun is maintaining central presence over my head in Montclair at the Montclair Transit Center, and the same way that it is while I'm standing outside in what is the Veterans Monument in front of the Open Public Library. The same Open Public Library where the light source remains outside and over this venue after 5:35 p.m., which is what I documented yesterday. This is the pattern of conduct. And so you're talking about what is a body of evidence, and that's why I'm able to give example after example after example after example of what is the elements of monitoring. This is a demon that's creating noise, who was stalking while that third eye remains on me, and doing so while monitoring on a communication device, which is also serving what is obstruction of justice. They seek to obstruct the ability to publish. I am still publishing. I am still subject to monitoring while I am publishing, and the entity seeks to engage in what is obstructing that effort. This is what the African-American male is engaging in. He's also a sex offender that's monitoring while I go into the bathroom at this venue. Understand that. This is the entity that is engaging in what is engaging in any efforts to obstruct publishing. So, for example, on YouTube, when you are inside of your YouTube channel, which I am, there is the ability to upload your videos and also download them, for example, for whatever you want to download it for. I have done that before. It is an ordinary function of being on YouTube, and the entity is obstructing that. That's just a method of what is monitoring, obstructing an ability of what is the ordinary functions on a website, removing what are functions of the website. For example, removing the ability to review the video that you've uploaded, removing the ability to download the video that you've uploaded. These are the purposes of creation of the ongoing audible activity. These demons create audible activity while these functions are removed from the website that you're on. This is literally the monitoring conduct. It is also demonic activity occurring in a demonic environment. So I want to be clear. It's very, very instrumental what this demon is doing. And she is doing it on behalf of an entity. This is the government that's stalking by helicopter. It's occurring inside of the Open Public Library. So the helicopter is not flying over me inside of the Open Public Library. The entity is stalking, and again, the helicopter represents the state. The entity is stalking through the people of the state who are maintaining the elements of monitoring. Outside, massive amplification through means such as amplified plane activity, amplified sound of traffic, amplified sound of trains, amplified sounds of helicopter, while the entity is amplifying the sound of what is ordinarily mundane and innocuous, cleaning off a bookshelf, stocking books on a bookshelf. It is serving what is disturbance inside of a study room. I'm enclosed inside of a study room, but yet you have what is creating sensational activity through the floor. That's impossible. That's a demon. And what is an environment, what is not possibly, this is engineered light and under the fake sun. So I would just want to be clear, that's the significance of what I'm documenting. And this is carried into what is the private space of the bathroom inside of this venue, where the employees are engaged in that same exact obsession. That obsession is denoted not by their unpersuasive placement of their backs toward me while they're stalking, but the placement of that specific environment while they are stalking. Okay, it's currently 11:12 a.m. and this is P.O.C. The entity is monitoring on the venue of the internet in violation of existing federal law, and doing so while of that specific condition. This is demon possession. This is demonic activity, that which is done in concert and on behalf of the state of California. And this is what this demon is doing while she is repeatedly wiping down the same bookshelves. There's only so many bookshelves on a bookcase. She is using it as a means of loitering in relevant position in close proximity to me, stalking in the same way that the entity is stalking where I'm sleeping at the museum at nightfall, doing so on behalf of that entity that is stalking in all manner, using planes, trains, police, fire, and ambulance to do so. It is currently 11:12 a.m. and this is P.O.C. All right, the entity engages in what is pacing in and out of the little doorway right here, which I captured on many occasions. They pace in and out of this doorway. So the door closure is that which occurs with simultaneity to literally my pressing my screen on my phone, turning on Wi-Fi, beginning the operation of a particular app, okay? And this is revealing what also these are demons that are monitoring, meaning this is the psychopath that is literally stalking and monitoring as I'm documenting it. So this is the freak weirdo that is literally aware of the fact that I'm revealing what they're doing while they continue doing what they're doing. That's the freak weirdo, okay? The obsessed stalker. So I just want to point out the ongoing monitoring of documentation, all right? And I want to be clear, what the entity is doing is creating ongoing methods of noise. So not only is this demon over here remaining loitering in relevant position, and the method of ongoing noise creation while they're monitoring on the internet and group stalking on behalf of the state is I'm taking pictures of what she's doing. She's wiping down a bookshelf and repeatedly adjusting shelves, which is her form for what's the creation of noise. This creation of noise is occurring with simultaneity to what I am doing. Pacing in and out of the doorway, the door closes and opens with simultaneity to the operation of my phone while they seek to slow down my phone. For example, I open up an app and it's a prolonged delay in opening up the app. The moment that the app opens up, though, boom, the door closes. These are demons that are monitoring on my phone, on the internet. The moment that I am, for example, reviewing, I just got through reviewing what it is that I recorded moments ago. And the moment that I engage in ceasing recording this demon, she picks up her volume. She's engaging in more noise creation. So I want to be clear on that. But you also have what is the creation of what is also impossible noise. What door is closing inside of the library that's going to create a loud boom inside of the study room? I'm going to let you know that there is none. It's amplified audible activity. It's the conduct of the demon possessed. All right. And so you're talking about what is the maintenance of noise that's concentrated around me while they are, again, engaged in an unpersuasive form. This is the system whereby you are not supposed to be aware of the fact that you're subject to surveillance. And this is why these demons are engaging in conduct around you, and that's supposed to be the explanation for the noises that you're hearing, but you're paying attention to what is the abnormally loud volume of that noise, which is a pattern. It's occurring with simultaneity to what you're doing, which is a pattern. It's occurring in that specific environment, which is also a natural and a scientific impossibility, which is the pattern. And so the entity is funneling all sorts of noise inside, and it includes not only this demon who is maintaining presence at the bookshelf, she's group stalking. They are pacing in and out of the door right here, door closing and opening with regard to the simultaneity to whatever it is that I'm doing while they are engaging in an ongoing delay of whatever it is that I seek to do. As I open up an app, it's slowed down. The internet access is slowed down. I'm logged on and off. I'm obstructed in my ability to operate the ordinary functions on my phone, and while they're monitoring, and they know exactly what I'm doing, because while it's delayed, and my phone will pop up saying, for example, the Anchor app, because my podcast is on Anchor. Anchor is Spotify. This is what's hosting my app. So as I open it up, and it's severely delayed, and while it is delayed, then I get a pop-up stating that Anchor is experiencing a delay. Do you want to report it or whatever? And I don't. But it creates a pop-up while this delay is underway, and then it begins functioning after that delay. Bam, this is just a method. They'll pace in and out the door, closing the door at the same time. This is the same time that my phone begins functioning after that substantial delay. This is the ongoing monitoring conduct. They maintain noise, and this engineered light is instrumental to what they are doing on communication devices surrounding. This African male is maintaining surveillance, monitoring as well. This is surrounding conduct. Pacing in and out of the door right here in front, using the door closure as a method of stalking with audible activity, using the presence in front of the book stack, wiping it down, removing the shelves and putting them back, adjusting. Whatever this demon is doing, she's creating noise. And then you also have what is the maintenance of what is sounding of, for example, as I've documented, the sound of children's voices that's supposedly coming from upstairs. That's demonic. It's noise, which is impossible noise as well. This is the surrounding with noise. So I just want to give you ongoing examples. This is just another iteration of the same exact P.O.C. And these are demons that are also aware of the fact that they're being recorded. Now, they are not ceasing to engage in that stalking with activity conduct, but I want to be clear that maniacal rise in activity as I cease recording, it immediately increases. This is a psychopath that's monitoring the fact that they're documented, and they're not stopping.
that pattern of conduct. But I want to be clear, they're acting more relentless as I am not recording. For example, the loud booming of what some mysterious door, I guess that's supposed to be attributed to, that's creating a boom inside of the study room. These are not actually study rooms. This is speaking to what is a pattern of conduct. You are not capable of having what is tranquility, what is an ability to engage in what is focus, where demons are surrounding you and placing you under surveillance. And this is what is so comical. While the entity engages in harassment, for example, talking about you've gotten complaints while I'm inside of the study room where I am engaging in what is humming to myself, where under ordinary circumstances you cannot hear that. There is no circumstance. It's absolutely unrealistic what the entity is doing, but it is an admission because they're speaking to, first of all, they know what I'm doing, and it is unrealistic that you are able to hear me humming inside of what is a study room. The fact that you can see the minions are surrounding you does not mean that you're able to hear them zipping up their backpacks, placing down their water bottle on a table, walking in and out of the room, the ongoing amplified audible activity, placing a book on a bookshelf. Okay, these are methods of noise. What's supposedly occurring because there's no minion that's walking out of the room that's in front of me. This little doorway where the employees pace in and out and create what is noise with simultaneity to their door closure, occurring with simultaneity to what's going on the internet and on my phone and on the laptop. There's some other, and I'm only speaking to what is a door closure because it's reminiscent of, I guess it's supposed to be the sound of the door, but nonetheless, it's a loud boom that's occurring inside of the study room. While there is no explanation for that. It's the pattern of conduct of creation of noise. And it is, again, the ongoing harassment by a bunch of demons who are engaged in surveillance, monitoring on communication devices. And again, the environment that they're in is speaking to not only as I'm revealing what is the peculiarity of their very conduct and the ways in which it is abnormally loud, creating an ongoing disturbance uncharacteristic of being in a library where you're supposedly maintaining what is a quiet environment. This is not the case, and it's impossible where they're engaging in the P.O.C, by the way. All right, so I just want to point that out. Anyway, it's 11:29 a.m. and I wanted to follow up with that. What I'm uploading now, and after reviewing it, you have pacing in and out of the employees. This is their maintenance of activity creation and crossing of path conduct for the duration of the day. While the entity is keeping direct light, keeping the fake sun over the venue, surrounding the venue with light activity, flashing of light. All right, which they're doing outside, pacing all around on Euclid Avenue, on D Street, in the parking lot, on Arrow Highway, and maintaining presence all around on First Avenue. They are surrounding in relevant position the entity at Molly Super, the Upland Unified School District. I'm just speaking to what's surrounding. They're all monitoring together while they're maintaining around me an amplified level of noise, directed light, and the fake sun. That is the system of what is surveillance and noise in the engineered light while group presence with communication devices. That's the system of group stalking. Group stalking is a monitoring system. All right, it's currently 11:30 a.m. and this is P.O.C.
7NGE 672 8HRB 674 6LAG 064 72980W1, that's a demon. YI908225 that's Pacific Edge Delivery. It is currently, by the way, it's 6 p.m. on the dot, and I am walking south on Euclid Avenue. And the same exact environment remains, impossible light while demons are crossing path. And also this is the light source, this is the sun that's keeping in alignment with me upon my exit of the same venue that I entered this morning, and that's the Upper Public Library. 8JXW444 38389P2, I believe. I can't really see that one. License 6MUN238. 6EAF 919. 8VOX230. And it's 6:01 p.m. The entity engaging in what is, again, any public establishment is
the target individual is subject to what is sexual violation inside of the private space inside of any public establishment. And so this entity is engaging in bathroom monitoring. The minion that I captured group stalking upon my exit of the Upland Public Library is license 8XJB582. And she is group stalking at the intersection of D Street and Euclid Avenue. This is the same location of the fake sun at 9:25 in the morning. So this is the P.O.C. 7FMF302. These are demons crossing path in that environment. 4XMU063, 13101M1, 8TTG204, 8VRL543, 8WNP856, 9G10501. That's MJ Tank Lines, 8SVJ702, 7JBL827, 5PPY746, 8VSL901. 6UYD270. And again, that Latina female in the picture that I take, 8XJB582. She's group stalking, maintaining presence until the last moment that I exit the venue. And this is doing so by monitoring with the group stalker at the circulation desk, monitoring with the venue, okay? Standing at the circulation desk is crossing in path conduct, 6UYD270. That's engaging in what is driving in front of me while he clearly sees me in the middle of the crosswalk. He's engaging group stalking. That's why he insists in doing that. And that's a threat. That's an assault with a deadly weapon. B239Z0. And I want to document that he just engaged in an assault with a deadly weapon while he's group stalking. You have every reasonable basis to fear for your life while they are stalking you. Doing so with directed light under a deliberately maintained environment and refusing to stop while I'm in the crosswalk having the right of way. 5USN635. I'm going to capture the fake sun at the same exact location where I am this is at D Street between Upland Public Library and the Upland Unified School District at 9:25 in the morning, where an assault with a deadly weapon just occurred as I read that license plate, 8HNP830. Alrighty, it is 6:07 p.m. capturing the documentation for the prosecution of the people. The license plate that I recited, this is assault with a deadly weapon by an entity engaged in federal stalking. So this is the ongoing insistence on the crossing path conduct, not permitting me to have the right of way while I am already walking with the right of way as the pedestrian, and engaging in what is proceeding toward me, accelerating toward me, and looking directly at me while accelerating toward me, and this is creating what is above more than a reasonable basis to fear a battery with a vehicle, which is an assault with a deadly weapon, while I'm subject to what is federal stalking by the state. And I captured on video at after 6 p.m. It's approximately like 6:01 p.m. I believe I captured this video, and it continues until after 6:05 p.m. This is the exact same timestamp where I'm inside of the Fontana Lewis Library, as I've documented the fake sun that remained from the beginning of the day, the business day, as I arrived in the morning at the Fontana Lewis Library. The entity kept that fake sun, which I captured at 6:02. Two videos, I believe. It was 6:02, and then I started another one at 6:05. And this is the time frame where I'm standing right here in Upland, California, where I've remained as a matter of documentation, mutually exclusive to the sun ever being present over the Fontana Lewis Library by virtue of that. But it is also under the analysis of what is the duration of time, as I captured that same exact intersection at 9:25 in the morning, where the Upland Police, that vehicle is captured. The demon possessed are group stalking with directed light, which is clearly seen in that video at 9:25 in the morning yesterday. And actually, I think it's 9:24 in the morning. And some seconds, it's essentially 9:25. And you have what is, again, this is supposed to be the sun. This would be the ongoing consistent conduct, the presence of the sun. But this is speaking to what is an impossibility, as not only did it remain over the Upland Public Library for the duration of the day. I am at this intersection where I stood at 9:24 in the morning yesterday, after documenting what is the same exact time while I'm still en route to Chino the day before that, which is impossible to be the sun as well. But it's also not possible. This is not the natural environment where that light source is over me at that same exact intersection after 6 p.m. All right. And so this is multiple angles of the ongoing analysis, all of which are revealing what is the unnatural environment. I'm subject to that pattern of conduct of federal stalking, and the people of the state just engaging in what is assault with a deadly weapon while they are engaging in federal stalking on behalf of the government, which is a threat to your life. Okay. Refusing to let me proceed to walk is because the entity is engaging in what is necessary conduct with regard to their stalking. This is crossing a path which this third party insists on doing and not permitting me to walk before they continue driving. I do have the right of way while I'm walking in the crosswalk, and this third party is threatening. You're already threatening because you're group stalking, period, but I want to be clear, while they are in they are in operation of what is a weapon, and that is accelerating toward me and looking directly at me while accelerating toward me. And I am in the crosswalk with the right of way, and there's no reason why that third party, other than the P.O.C, there's no reason why that third party would. It is unreasonable, in other words, that third party continued to drive and accelerate and not let me proceed. Well, I had already started walking before they started driving. So I want to be clear, it is that insistence of engaging in the P.O.C. And Amazon Prime arrives in that video. And let me be clear, not only is Amazon Prime a stalker, this is a demon, this is a stalker, it is also within the P.O.C. Amazon Prime committed the exact same crime on behalf of the people. And that is also speaking to what is the absence of coincidence as I capture that video. And that presence of that fake sun is not hovering over, possibly hovering over the Fontana Lewis Library at the same time as I'm capturing at 6:05 p.m., the same exact time as this video that I capture right now. 8VWT322, that's evidence against the people of the state, the entire entity to be prosecuted as that. They engage in kidnapping together, they're engaging in a sex offense together, they will be identified individually, but they are prosecuted as the people of the state. 7JIF326, and that's going on criminal records, which will have reverberating repercussions upon prosecution. 8PMH873, a demon touching with directed light. 8VBJ016. 5EKJ239, 72128H1, 8PTX637. What are you doing, Satan? Alrighty, this minion touching with directed light, going into what is 7-Eleven and touching again while the door opens. And I captured close-up images of that demon on surveillance cameras inside of the 7-Eleven as well. It is currently 6:11 p.m. Alrighty, capturing what is the sex offense inside of 7-Eleven. This is the ongoing molestation and terrorism with directed light. And so while they're opening the doors, the directed light is reaching farther and farther into the 7-Eleven. And this is from the door. This is not the same direction that the entity is aiming it through the aisles of the 7-Eleven. This is reaching from the window, which is impossible light coming through the window that has a blinds covering it. Let me show you this. Alrighty, so the light that's coming through, and it's not coming through the door. These are demons that are manifesting light, and the light is reaching farther and farther, and that's because I'm nearest the microwave now. And so the light is going in the direction north as the doors are opening and closing. And as I've documented the molestation while I'm standing in the aisle, that's light that's moving in the direction east, stationary through the aisles in the direction east, which is impossible light going in absolutely opposite directions. While the entity is seeking to engage in what is the show of hostility, the employee here approaches me crossing path at the same time to give me something that I didn't ask for. He calls himself being thoughtful and nice, while the entity is reaching to the end of the store with directed light to touch me. Okay, this is how demons engage in what is malicious conduct. This is how Satan is engaging in what is showing hostility while smiling in your face. These are demons. And that's demonic, the directed light, and it's occurring inside of the store. Not the stationary light that I captured in video at 6:36 p.m. while I'm in the aisle of the store. I'm talking about demons that are opening the door, and directed light is moving as the door is opening and closing and reaching farther and farther based on where I'm standing inside of the 7-Eleven. Okay, it is, and I captured close-up images of the people of the state that are engaging in this demonic activity. This is the prosecution of what is 7-Eleven. It is also captured on surveillance cameras. Literally, you can see the directed light on the surveillance camera. The camera itself is right in front of the door. In addition to that, I am referencing the surveillance cameras, and you have what is the documentation of, as I'm capturing images of them close up while they're stalking inside of the store. It is literally the stalking conduct while they're coming in and out. They're engaging in nothing other than crossing a path. So when you're engaging in crossing a path, group stalking at a venue, you're going there, you're going to buy something, you're going to stand in line for something, you're going to engaging in something with regard to whatever that venue engages in. This is 7-Eleven. So they're group stalking, engaging in what is pacing in and out while directed light is moving as the door is opening and closing. And the employees are monitoring, acting pursuant to that, and they are all hostile demons. Let me be clear, it is currently, by the way, 6:20 p.m. Alrighty, that's Metrolink creating audible activity under the fake sun. 8TW4, I can't really see the rest of them. You can scratch that. 8RJZ971, 7XQT726. Capturing video of what is the contradictory directions of light The entity is aiming directed light in multiple directions inside of that 7-Eleven. It is also contradictory to what is common sense because the light source is directly above my head at this venue in the morning. So the actual sun is not going to be remaining aiming light or next to the building in the evening. Okay, the sun is not a stationary object, and that is stationary while it's across the street aiming light into the 7-Eleven. So like I said, that is speaking to what is the sex offense, what are psychopaths. You see them in videos smiling, cheesing, chit-chatting, and they're monitoring, they're group stalking. 8XRL779, 6LKN703. That's the violent sex offender. That is the psychopath. And that's what's captured in video, including 7RKW603. She's engaging in that sex offense, that criminal conduct, that terrorism with a minor child. And she is standing in relevant position under the fake sun. Okay? And that's what you're looking at while the demon possessed you in the presence of evil. And they like to look as though they're perplexed as, what are you doing? While they're stalking you. 8TBB274, 78554V1, 7XPK920, 8ZMY485. 8XPD627, 5GBM185, 8ZGP911, BUD hand IES, 8XBD767, 95686V2, 8PIC617, 38253M2, 8NCC388, 8RQY749, 8CXU796, 8LAS697, 70972H1. License 8GYJ583, 7ZAC688, 8WME443. What I captured in video, again, you're looking at the multiple directions of directed light and also the dynamic directed light while I open the door and show you what is a different method than what the entity was doing as those demons were pacing in and out of the 7-Eleven. It is still equally impossible light though. 7ZJE068, 8ZGD063, 8YYS330, 7XPL913. It's impossible light, what you see in the video, but that even is not what the entity was doing while I was standing at the microwave inside and flashing a richer color, a deeper orange. Directed light was reaching forward toward me, like attacking almost with directed light. It's demonic. What they're doing, 7UIX810. And it has nothing to do with the opening and closing of the door in the same way that has nothing to do with that's not even the sun that's remaining over me while I'm at the 7-Eleven. This is the act of the demonic. And so that's what I captured in video, 8TUR337. This is what I captured in video. And the entity is engaging in what is changing what was underway while I was inside as I begin capturing it on video. But like I said, still the light activity that I'm capturing while I'm opening and closing the door is equally impossible. There is no light that's going, well, remember, outside of the door, I've documented that. Demons pacing in and out, the directed light is going outside of the door and also inside of the 7-Eleven. It's the same thing on Omnitrans buses. Directed light on the inside of the bus while they open and close doors, for example. And the entity is aiming directed light, flashing directed light, and also directed light on the outside of the bus, the very shape of the bus, if you will, while that engineered light, while demons are manifesting light, because it has nothing to do with the light source itself. These are demons that are manifesting light. It occurs at nightfall. That same exact directed light conduct happens at night when there is no fake sun, and that is indeed what it is. A scientific impossibility that that will be the sun, and that any of that light activity is sunlight, or that sunlight engages in conduct like that. 7PVZ104, 8JGR001, Amazon Prime license plate, 4327683, 8SMG898, 6HRM458, 8RIM998, 8ZWK344, 8HSD044, 4UWP785, 83627F1, 8TMM077, 7PEH221, license 8PFX888, 8SMG898, 7BAU800, 8HJC178, 7MBY288, 06001P2. What I'm documenting essentially inside of what is the identification of a company, 7-Eleven, inside of its venue, a third-party facilitating venue, is an ongoing sex offense, all manner of unlawful touching. 8JBK435, which men and women, well, I don't want to say men, demons of the male and female gender will be prosecuted. 67611L2, 6GPU180. And doing so, engaging in that ongoing unlawful touching, the sexual molestation, as I'm capturing this demon that's engaging in that conduct. Let me be clear, you're engaging in the sex offense while you are group stalking in the path. Group stalking, criminal monitoring, is accomplished by virtue of being present. You are a part of that ongoing molestation while you are a part of that criminal conduct, that ongoing act with the state to monitor with communication devices. Not only is the sex act itself of that unlawful touching the unlawful act, but it's also achieving what is the unlawful act of monitoring on communication devices. You're monitoring a relevant position. You're part of that same that same demonic orgy that's going on while light is touching all over you and surrounding all over you, which is exactly what I captured inside of 711, 7JHL783, 4UWZ583. And this is what the entity is doing inside of the store while demons are just pacing in and out and in and out and in and out. And doing so while they're aware of the fact, this is the reality of what's going on. They are monitoring documentation. So you're talking about what is in their act, right? You're talking about the psychopath that's holding a bloody knife behind their back and cheesing from ear to ear. Blood is smeared on the side of their face. Blood is all over their shirt. Blood is on the floor all in front of them. And they're keeping a smile on their face, talking about, hi, well, how's it going? All right, like you don't see the knife, like you don't see the blood, like you are totally fooled and persuaded by the smile that they have on their face, okay? That's the psychopath. They are aware that I'm documenting, okay? Not because I'm holding up a phone and because I'm talking. They are demons that know that they are engaging in criminal conduct that I am aware of and that I'm documenting. I'm dealing with an entity, not individuals. This is a demon-possessed entity and the third-party entity that's monitoring with the state, 8AVD809. They know when I'm coming. They know that I'm there. They know that I'm documenting their demonic conduct. They know that they are being documented for their criminal conduct, and they're engaging in what is the conduct of a psychopath, which is relevant to their prosecution, while they're sexually violating another. That's going to be directly relevant to that prosecution for terrorism and the violent sex offender that is the people of the state. Okay, I want to be clear, engaging what is cheesing from ear to ear while you're monitoring documentation and sexually violating another, that is speaking to a grand accumulation of federal charges. You are all kinds of a sick person, okay? A sick entity. It's not persuading anybody. That's not possibly the sun. None of that is sunlight. And your outward form, your outward performance, if you will, is speaking to what is nothing other than engaging in the elements, and it is speaking to what is the personality of Satan, an unbalanced, very dangerous person. While they are insisting in showing what is hostility, that's what they're doing. That's what the demon possessors are doing. They're showing hostility while they are sexually violating you, and doing so while they're outwardly conducting themselves as though they are just engaging in casual conversation, friendly dispositions, while Satan is engaging in all manner of attack. And that's what the directed light is about, and the fake sun present. Remember, I'm documenting what is assault with a deadly weapon by an entity engaged in federal stalking prior to entrance. The entity engages in what is a show of hostility while the elements of monitoring remain underway. And the entity engages in what is very aggressive directed light conduct while those demons pace in and out. Changes that method of directed light while I open and close the door. It is still directed light, still impossible, and never occurring even if that was the sun. That's not sunlight. That's not what light's going to do. None of that's coming from the sun at all whatsoever. And so that's speaking to what is a psychopath. So I'm just breaking all that down for you. 8WPE302, they are all part of the same sex offense monitoring while my panties are down. 8Z66772, engaging in what is assault with a deadly weapon by this is the same exact entity engaged in federal stalking. The entity engaged in that criminal act while I documented it, engaging in the sex offense inside of 711. License plate, 6CTL268-08699K1, 29020P1, 26106U2, 7G PF, I can't really see that one. Good chance. 60248V1, 8ELR149, 13258U2, 7NTJ582, CC46S59 paper, 8RJJ306, 6UYG905, 7J72967, EV329, 5VJH509, I believe. This is Metrolink again. It's currently 6:34 p.m. If you recall, again, my exit of 7-Eleven, that Metrolink was sounding. It's not even 10 minutes later. And this is Metrolink that is going now, what is eastbound. Alrighty, that's Metrolink that's going eastbound. That is amplification as well. The sound is reverberating. That's not the actual sound of the train. This is demonic activity. 21509A1. And that is the high frequency use of the Metrolink train that is passing by the Upland train station at 6:34 p.m. That's Metrolink. That is on surveillance cameras as well. Metrolink trains have surveillance cameras, and the Upland train station has surveillance cameras. 7BNT 107, 54576X2, 7HMN 615, 7PGW 163, 8SVE 286, 8BJF 593, ROBINS 7BGZ 985, CC19W17 paper, 7JBP 154, 4ZNN 575, 8JSD 095, 6XDM 353, 8YLX 501, 6NFE 809, 6NEF 890, excuse me. 7MOE 909, I think, if I had not read that one already. And it's 6:35 p.m. And again, this 7-Eleven is at 204 North Euclid Avenue in Upland, California. L.E. Hart, P.O.L.D. 8EHY244, 8KAX252, 8KLN018, 4P, I can't really see that one, 8HBX502, 14069M1, 7WB, I can't really see that one, 7674, I can't see that one either, you can scratch that one, 8BJK099, 8HYV245, BJV4799 Arizona, 8KCC313, 5PTS623, 8MFV893, 5VVE348, 74771E3, 7FRK100, 8TKQ788, PRCEGRL, 8NQW333, 8FUJ913, 92305F3, 8Z17624, 8F 81373, 8R OG057, LMSKBRN, 7KLB 535, I believe. I can't really see that one. I think I missed the third to last here. You can scratch that last one. I don't know if that was a B or 8. 7YOU 872, 8MSN 981, 8BPP 494, 7TGZ 867, 5XIH 988, 23209Y2, 8KRW956, 59864K3, 6VA8303, 7LDM833, 7NVY557, 8WYW881, 7VCR392, 5FIG802, 6SWD824, 8LJX749, 8YWE565, 8RQB621, 8FBX618, 7PBD778, 7RGC764, in case I didn't read that one already, 8YNG735, and remember, more than 7-Eleven is monitoring. That's ongoing facilitation. The state of California is monitoring. The demon-possessed government, that is government actors that engage in stalking. Those are demons that fly helicopters over me, stalking me by helicopters. They're monitoring while the entity is engaging in that sex offense with directed light inside of 7-Eleven. So a lower image is in relevant position monitoring, okay? The historic downtown Upland, they're monitoring. 7PBD778, LBSU82, that's Roy Cyclery back there, documented those venues very heavily before. 8BNH167, they were monitoring then, and they're monitoring now while that ongoing activity is documented while I was in that 7-Eleven, and they're monitoring right now as well, but I just want to be clear as to the significance of everything that I documented. 4YWD918, 6ZYF812, 6XHA699, 8NXA379, 7WLN826, 8MZS507, 32891D3, 65348D3, 8DMH325, 7XUP940, 6Y10889, 7GXD970. It's 6:39 p.m. 8F67431, 8YKF164. 8 MIP 972, 62307V2. That one, 8JGR001, 8SQP 132, 6WSJ109, 6XNN216, 5DRT151, 8VCW479, 7CRM033, 8LIN539, 8KMA348, 251UD handicap, 5ZXN321, 8RDP539, 271NGC Oregon, 7JAR062, 8BWT515, 8BLB257, 0859V, that's a G13, that's a federal plate on a white van. License 8LBN769, 7YAL546, 7EHE537. Six VJZ254, 8WIH080, 7NEG551, 6ABH596, 8YUK399, A Hart NOEMI, 7EDU015, 6ZRN203, 8NKY508, 5006-2Y2, 8SHW086, 7LZS877, 6AQJ356, 5WSU261, 9AIR523, 9BCW004, 8CX, well, I can't really see that one, you express that. 7ZFG206, and I read that one already. License 8WKN564, I believe I read that one. These demons are just pacing back and forth. That's relevant to how they're prosecuted. License 6BVJ779, 6AQJ356, 8CXK903, 5GRD530, 8JXY489, NKA58E. Looks like it's out of state, maybe Nevada. It's a dark license plate with white lettering on it. 89218K2. 7BBS925, ROBSQAD, 8DCH827, 8UJW225, BF66W63, that's paper, 6UAL457, 8BPP494, 8FTU888, 6NDL753. 52MM787, that's a white van, no front license plate, an African-American male in operation of it, with a high top, in operation of his communication device, driving that white van. License plate M542NO, 14609G3, Omnitrans license 1370397, bus 1326. License JAZ4220. That's an out-of-state license plate, African American with blonde cornrows, very hideous. 43503U1. Seven Y25184, 7HRB337, 8YWN116, 6GRJ178, 7MST000, 77539C1. 8RWP480, 8JKD711. All right, it is currently 6:44 p.m. It's 10 minutes later. This is Metrolink. That's on the tracks again. That's audible activity creation. That's amplified audible activity as well. Just want to be clear. This time I'm taking an image of what is, again, going eastbound on the Metrolink train tracks. amplified audible activity in doing so. And this is ongoing facilitation. Metrolink is monitoring and facilitating monitoring, and it's engaging in demonic activity, terrorism. That company is being prosecuted as. And this is, again, upon my exit of 711, 7SV and 628, again at 6:34 p.m., and again right now at 6:44 p.m. And they're going eastbound to the Upland train station on surveillance cameras. And I did capture an image of what is the Metrolink train, but that's exactly what had happened before, and that's exactly what was sounding as I was walking out of the 7-Eleven, which Metrolink is monitoring while I was walking out of the 7-Eleven. 35226R2, 31201N2, 6LIN835, 8BQA094, 7AGX 673, 8B, no, I can't even say that one, 8BTL880, 6PTP 694, 8TGJ 519, 8SEF 387, PRPL 18, 8SQG074, 8YTA 326, 13958C1. All right, group stalking on the sidewalk, maintaining presence where I'm standing here documenting license plates. Sure. Oh, am I in your one? Go ahead.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It is currently 6:46 p.m. 7KIM 395. And they are monitoring with minor children, group stalking with minor children. 8EAM 438. 7RGC 764, I think I read that one. 8ATM 801. 8HKG 423. 8SSF064. F12J is all that license plate says on that motorcycle. 7GVL419. 8JMC928. 5HZW330. 7CYP240. 6RCG026. This is the big fat Bubba in operation of his communication device molesting me while he is group stalking. 8EFW520. I'm talking about dirty wife beater, nasty, dirty, Bubba looking minion, group stalking, and a sex offender. 8WEF733, touching, unlawful touching. 8WSU913. 7HGX028. 6WCZ. I can't really see the rest of them. It is 6:47 p.m. Whoop. And again, what those minions, I took pictures of approximately like 2.5 minutes ago, at around 6:44, 6:45. These demons with children are group stalking. They're maintaining presence. They're just standing there loitering behind me. Loitering in relevant position. You're group stalking and you're maintaining presence. You're just sitting there, in other words. You're remaining stationary and you're group stalking. That's called loitering in relevant position. And you are loitering in relevant position where you work. You are loitering in relevant position where it is that you're shopping. You're loitering in relevant position where it is that you live. 8HKM803. And you're doing so on behalf of the state. You don't have a right to remain present on behalf of the government that's placing you under surveillance, stalking, in all sorts of manner, including with light, like what is going on inside of a 7-Eleven. All right, and that's exactly why you'll be prosecuted where any demon works, or you'll be prosecuted where any demon lives, because that's what they're conditioned. They're not just criminals engaging in what is third-party conduct. They are demons. Demons engage in this conduct with directed light. This is demonic activity serving a criminal system. All right. And so demons are going to be prosecuted as the sex offenders that they are. They engage in an ongoing pattern, an ongoing habit, molesting all over with engineered light. 8C59622. It's entirely demented, very, very sick, very, very disturbing. 7YRZ459. 8AYK705, 8JNX480. And what you'll observe in my video documentation as they engage in the conduct with knowledge of the fact that now I'm documenting them. Okay. And this is one that the entity has never encountered this before. So they're confronted with what is documentation, and they're learning about the ways in which they're going to be prosecuted and everything about their demonic system to be revealed, and all the ways in which it's going to be held against them. So the entity is engaging in what is this conduct, this sexual violence, while smiling and chit-chatting like there's nothing normal about anything that's showing the level of sickness. 864WNT, excuse me, that's Nevada. 7WXJ854, monitoring with this minion right here. Right here at the bus stop, group stalking, license 5YLG251, 8DTG291, license 7COU579. And it's 6:50 p.m. 62307B2. Terminex. License 8N76196. They were group stalking a lot when I would do property management. Imagine you can call Terminex to engage in group stalking, and their form is that they're coming to engage in spraying down some minion's apartment. They were monitoring for a very long time. Just all the ways in which you're understanding how the entity is engaging in P.O.C. And so Terminex been monitoring for a long time while I was doing property management, subject to the same demon-possessed entity, unbeknownst to me. 7YEU754 43560Z2. That's a minion that is monitoring with this demon that's at the bus stop. That's amplified audible activity in the same way that Metrolink is, okay? And doing so in what is engineered that they're all driving in direct light. 7HIU960, 8UHT114 with children in the vehicle. 8TDF349. $59230W1 8LJA 287 8WAM 373. It's 6:51 p.m. BR91. Okay, 8XRC225 is the back license plate. 64695TT. No logo on it, but United States Postal Service is carrying that logo, carrying that trailer with that license on the back. AGSN160, that's what Ryder was doing yesterday, okay, while it was crossing paths with directed light. 8VBG630, 89632U2, 6TPU936, 80217E3, 8EHR522, 8XRG762. It is 6:52 p.m. 8UUK677, 5KUZ 081, I already read them. A Heart NOEMI, 8TYW593, 33767N1, 7NLY 980, 8AUT 062, KRZ M35, which is Florida. 7RGE 958. No license plate on that third party's vehicle. 8PUP 951. 8Z167. I can't really see that one. I don't know if that was 7 or Z. You could scratch that one. It's 6:53 p.m. And this minion at the bus stop group stalking is monitoring with all these demons who are crossing path. She's studying her communication device. They're all monitoring together. 5GQ. I can't really see that one. License. This is audible activity. License 8NQW292, 8XOE774, 6ZIM050. This is the exact same entity that is group stalking, hovering, wanting to be very close, stalking while I'm sleeping, maintaining noise just like you hear Metrolink doing at all hours, engaging what is harassment while they're stalking where it is that I lay at night. 8FJC526, TNKAGRL. You need to understand, this is the same exact entity that's stalking by helicopter. 8SAX423 is the exact same entity. 8XYD614. It is not separate. This is group stalking on behalf of that same exact entity. NZP6094 is Texas in California monitoring. 8TQL195. And that's what needs to be clear. This is group stalking, and this is the exact same entity that you're listening to monitoring me and stalking early in 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, 8ZEH933. It's also illustrated through the light activity inside of that 7-Eleven. 7CRW989. That's that desperation, that ongoing obsession. Okay, 91527D3. You're witnessing it through the environment. IT5AME. 8SYD936. That's how you are witnessing what is the obsessed stalker. Okay, not only because I'm documenting you stalking at all hours of the night, doing so in helicopters. This is how much of a priority I am. This is how important I am. This is how much I am the center of your universe. Literally, your fake sun and fake moon rise on me, set on me. 8KJC524. And you're also group stalking. You want to be next to me while I'm sleeping. You want to be next to me in the bathroom. You're a very violent sex offender, a very disturbed one. 7THE819. 8UGJ864. Every single last one of them. 4SRG413, CC65G00. This is their condition, demon possession. This is demonic activity. These are the demon possessed, and they are of that same exact condition, stalking and engineer light together. 8MSH337 on behalf of the state of California. 6YAA687. 5VSH699, using an entire train, Metrolink. That's what Metrolink is doing every 10 minutes, stalking me. 8SFK861. That's obsession. Doing so in directed light under the fake sun. That's what Metrolink is doing. Okay. 7YMT885. CBYZBBY. CBYZBBY. Yeah. Using your whole train in order to engage in monitoring, and that's a lot. 8LL13K. And the reason why you're going through so much is because this is Satan. Satan is an inferior creature, inferior to those who are not of that condition. Satan cannot touch me. Okay. Satan is not able to compel me to do anything. All right, I don't serve Satan. I'm not a minion. I'm not a puppet. 8DMH264. I am both fascinating and very threatening. Okay, and I also tend to infuriate those who are of that condition as I'm telling you about what their condition is. Okay, they are sick with Satan. Satan all over them. Okay, plagued with it, and they are literally. Puppets, okay? And this is what you are witnessing in that environment. That directed light fill in 7-Eleven, you're witnessing demons. 8BSR131. And those demons are going to be prosecuted properly as sex offenders. 7X49992, that's what group stalking is. It's a very violent sex offense by a government. 9064983, 7FHX033, 8JUU536, 8PIR429, 8Z, I'm sorry, I can't really see that, you just CSF, LVF, 7MBE236, 39496G2, 8EJL845, 7L41047, 6NGK657, Matco Tools, California 50214, group stalking, driving in directed light, license plate 67781J1, 9ALE879. It's 6:58 p.m. 7ZLX437, 6XIC740. Six UYJ 462. Eight CXW 127, and that is also Lyft. They're bearing the Lyft logo on it. That's documentation of that company as well. You document whatever it is that you have in order to identify the entity. 72003B3. 6TED036, 8PSB091, 8ZOH726, 8UDH077, 8VIH055, BF66N46 paper, 8FNG738, 8UEK285, 8LWP859, 8TJR833, 7MBY288, 9268, 2C2, 70SB 832 06001P2. It is 6:59 p.m. and this minion that's group stalking at the bus stop is going to be on surveillance cameras of Omnitrans. This is she looks like a little girl, but this is a minion. This is a demon. Let me be clear. In operation of a communication device, fully cognizant of what is the purpose of remaining present in the path, monitoring with the minions who I'm identifying by company license plate, such as 8FRC 723, and monitoring with the communication device with the people of the state. She's monitoring with Omnitrans getting on that bus. 00704G1 5E23494. And this is the Omnitrans that I already read their license plate, so now I'm getting on it. It's license 8WED516, and I'm referencing the surveillance cameras of Omnitrans. License 1370397. She's at the same bus stop getting on the bus with a skateboard, black t-shirt, blue jeans, black bottoms with white soles, shoulder length black hair. It's 7 p.m. License plate 8DAY075. I am on route 83, being driven by, this bus is being operated by employee number 3330 per the display, okay? 8LYU569 and 07PH90. A Heart NOEMI is crossing path again. They're having a good old time stalking today. BF56H02 paper. FNW727, CC10E55, Terminex, 6WCB342. YYG65G, that is New Jersey. And 83627F1 for ZMS 562. Capturing the fake sun while this minion was 07PH90. This is a license plate with less than 7 characters on it, and maybe some sort of honorary mention or something on their license. Let me tell you something, they're a demon, okay? They're monitoring, and I just captured a series of images of the fake sun in a perfect alignment with me with the back window. I'm sitting at the back of the bus, the fullness of this light source in alignment, and the entity is moving as the bus is moving. That's how I'm able to capture those images at 7:03 p.m. That is an impossibility. I'm also at location of the 10 freeway where I would go as early as 7 in the morning, walking from the museum. It is 7 o'clock in the evening, and that's 7 in the morning before daylight savings time as well. The entity keeping that fake sun visible over that same location. This is capturing the ongoing demonic. The sun, this is an ongoing documentation of what is the demonic. U.S.NAVY3. And the demonic in that this street in and of itself, at the beginning of the day, this street being Euclid Avenue, at the beginning of the day, the early in the morning, okay? For example, I've documented 7 o'clock in the morning. When I get up and I'm going to the bus stop, for example, at the B&T Plaza, that's where I get up. This is early in the morning. And it is West Coast time, so this is in Southern California. That's where I'm at, in California. And you are talking about until the end of the day. The end of the day being, it's after 7 p.m. and on this same street, the light source itself is visible. Not only is it visible, meaning it's remaining over the building that I'm inside of all day, and then as I exit and I'm on the same street that I was on in the morning, that light source is not only still present over that same exact street, aiming light in that same exact exclusive manner, 78SK305, but it's also in alignment with my person, moving as I move on that same street that I was on in the morning. This is profoundly impossible. So this is why I'm capturing those still images, because that's the freeway entrance. I've gone there. I've walked there many mornings from the museum. My documentation establishes this, what I was doing, walking into Upland and capturing. I would stand there at that freeway entrance for a very long time, documenting group stalking, crossing a path systematically at the freeway entrance. I could get hundreds and hundreds of license plates of the people in the state stalking, engaging in terrorism, all right, engaging in the sex offense. And that's exactly what I've done. At 7 o'clock in the morning, that is not the sun that's going to be touching me in any regard, with any sort of light. It's not going to be present there. The sun is not a stationary object. it is engaged in ongoing movement. And it is not exclusive to what is the City of Ontario on Euclid Avenue, moving from one side of Euclid Avenue to the opposite side of Euclid Avenue at the end of the day. All right, so it is documentation of what is the P.O.C. RYANSGT 7P10844, and it is currently 7:06 p.m. So anyway, those are the still images that I captured at 7:04 p.m. Okay, those are minions creating audible activity. It is 7:06 p.m. WFM 162. License 4HGX964. 7FTD591, I believe. 7FTD581, excuse me. 7EST220.
Stop requested.
6DTH510. Yeah, I think I read that. 8YUX. I can't see the rest of it. 8YJN243. 5GGL513. 7P.O.4.504. 8AAP567. 846 paper, 8BWE515, 8SO2751. Ontario Police Group Stalking at the, showing you what is directed light all over the building where they're group stalking. Capturing what is direct light that's covering the building, the 4th sector at D Street and Euclid Avenue, the carport where that's the parking structure, the McCarthy parking structure. This is direct light covering everything. License plate 1627718. That's the Ontario Police who are group stalking at the intersection where the bus is also stopped. Stalking with light is 6PAT939. That is a female driving a white van. She's stalking in the path, monitoring with the Ontario Police, facilitating that criminal activity while she has her hazards on. This demon that knows that I'm witnessing her, she immediately turns that light activity off. Stalking in the path. And also they're stalking the path of light while direct light covers the buildings where you're seeing the Ontario Police that are group stalking with the rest of the people of the state. But I want to show you the evidence that surrounds those demons driving those police vehicles while they're monitoring. That is not light activity that's going to be over any of those buildings. The sun is not aiming onto the same exact street in the evening where it's present over the morning. And not only that, while I'm in Chino, California, and the entity's literally keeping the object over me at 7th Street, in Chino, California, and it's doing gymnastics with light all over the library, aiming into the book stacks upon my exit at 7, and the entity is aiming direct light all throughout that parking lot and onto specifically that 7th Street Theater in the way that you're seeing. This is not light activity that's going to exist under both circumstances, because the fact that the state's fixed sun is over this venue in the morning, and also because it's remaining directly over me exclusively at what is Chino, and that's exclusive because the light source remain over that building in Chino at the branch library, Chino Branch Library, upon my entrance. But again, also before I entered, but that's exclusive. It remained there all day long until my exit after 7 p.m. That's not light activity that's going to be on the 4th sector or on the Ovid Family Community Library, the 280 North Lemon Apartments on Euclid Avenue. That's speaking to what is stalking with light, stalking by the police department. It is 7:10 p.m. Excuse me. Alrighty, again, that is license 1370397, bus 1326, and monitoring with the Ontario Police Department, or group stalking at D Street and Euclid Avenue at the intersection. and doing so amongst directed light, which is covering the buildings and possible light activity, while the fake sun is remaining in alignment with me in the same way that it is in the morning as I'm on that same bus route going in the opposite direction, and crossing path while they're monitoring documentation. That employee operating that bus, again, 3330, appears to be an African-American male. 7EVX548. And it's 7:12 p.m. 8Z62093, 8TAU326, 6ZAE008, 4YDK720, 7UBV034, 7WBZ240, 7WBZ190, 8DVA124, 7MUU547, 8N35, I can't see that one, you start that one, 6YJW625, 8DOR665. 9F85324, 4XPJ917, 53804F3, 9ALV904. All right, Omnitrans is group stalking at the bus stop on the northbound side of Euclid Avenue, at the bus stop that I get on in the morning. 8HLX399, while these demons are driving through what is concentrated directed light that's laying across the asphalt and conflicting directions, not coming from a sun. And also you have what is the fake sun that's literally aimed on me. This is a molestation while it's hovering over Rich's second loan at a diagonal angle, which I've captured in video. This is what they're doing right now. 8USA430, 7PZL448, 4SH4654, CB60B42 paper, 7ZBZ338, 8BGR351, 8NGY325. License. It is 7:13 p.m. That's 53804F3, who's molesting and creating audible activity. 7Z7Q8R1, I believe. I can't really see that though. 5NHC269, GABVINJ, 5HGP542, 7UWF905, 7JDM164, 79795Y1, 7SJC617. Omnitrans Route 61 is loitering at limit and halt at the Metro 1 and 2 apartments. 8YTL566, 7VO8861, 87073K1, 5SXL552, 00976J3, 8XFC578, 8HFP173, 6HTY370, 7XYJ039, 6ZVB289, 5YCJ217, 6EQN766, 4ZMS562, 8SVK234, 4WNJ772, 7EEP132, BU9X5, I can't really spell, that was a paper plate, 8VLP237. I want to be clear, this entire entity is monitoring. The T-Mobile at Euclid and Holt is monitoring. RIA money transfer. The Euclid Loan and Jewelry, Euclid Pawn Jewelry Shop right here. The Dollar Express, 7YEN896, that's a license plate. The Mestiza Cafe. You have what is the Bally Spa, the Verizon, the Solos BD you have the Honduran restaurant, the Rich's Second Jewelry and Loan, 7BBW347, 6SMX614. You have the, what else is over here? The United States Postal Service, their venue at 123 West Holt Boulevard. You have the Ontario Police Department. You have their group stalking in traffic in this directed light in the middle of the intersection. They're demons. As I've already stated, they continue to demonstrate the fact that they're demons, and that's directly relevant to the way I'm going to prosecute them. Not license plate, but you have the venues over here, Pirate Staffing, the Ontario Boxing Club. These are venues over here. The Ape Fitness. These are venues that are monitoring. The Rojas Enterprises, they're monitoring. While the entity is keeping a fake sun, that's speaking to everybody that is monitoring in relevant position. Metro 102, the B&G Plaza, S.I.I.S Liquor, all right, the Andy's Burgers, all of that inside of the not Metro 102, inside of the B&G Plaza, shopping plaza area. 6PVF 719, while the entity is keeping directed light in the middle of the street, okay, this is another iteration of demons that are touching while directed light is moving across the building while they're driving their cars. Placing the directed light in the street while they drive through it, demonic, okay? License 8BKX105. $1576887. That's Ontario Police Group Stalking. 8G75539, 8RCF815, 78194D3, 8F21108, 7VCL106, 8BQL720, 95808Z1, 7LJ1557, 53535D2, 1627718, vehicle 1034. That's the demon possessed Ontario Police. And UPS is group stalking by a plane. 68VH562. United States Postal Service vehicle 033-3043. That's audible activity by Minion monitoring with the Ontario Police, by the way. 6WTY842, 70FH770. 8UFX912. What this demon is doing in plain sight, the people of the state will go to federal prison for this, okay? 8JYG688, the Ontario Police engaging in kidnapping, group stalking, monitoring, while monitoring documentation, engaging in what is stalking in plain sight, creating the facilitating elements in doing so, you will go to federal prison for that, what he did right now, okay? This is the pattern of conduct. This is what they engage in with impunity. They will be going to federal prison for it. 1614325, vehicle 1045, Ontario Police. The people of the state monitoring, creating the elements of monitoring with the entity, fake sun hovering over, molestation with directed light, you go to federal prison for that. All right, license 8JYG688 is monitoring with the Ontario Police, 68492M2, 8UFX912, 6WTY842, 7EFH770, 6SWX071, 5VMP233, Omnitrans, license 1302444, bus 2357. This is an African-American male driving this bus, Route 61, going eastbound, 8NNK736. Alrighty, this is group stalking. The entity that is group stalking by, let me get these demons, there we go. Amazon Prime crossing path as well, monitoring with the Ontario Police Department. This is an ongoing act of terrorism in that specific environment. And like I said, the entity engaging in what is group stalking with the government that likes to engage in stalking by helicopters threatening your life, stalking by demon-possessed police officers threatening your life, engaging in repeated acts of kidnapping, stalking you in plain sight, they're going to federal prison, and so shall the people of the state. That's exactly what that demon was engaging in, blasting music in direct light under the fake sun, all manner of a threat, while the entity is monitoring you. Doing it with impunity, you'll go to federal prison for even longer. All of these third parties that I just identified, including the company Omnitrans, engaging in what is that impermissible threat. This is the documentation. The entity stalking by helicopter, you document the people, you're talking about what is federal prison, okay? License 6WWT845 5YCG422. This is while the entity wants to threaten your life in plain sight and monitor, the people will go to federal prison with that entity. 6GAL155, 62010K3, 8WKB396, 7MFN875, BN90R90, paper, 8D59653, 7UFF177, 8TEY945, 7FBR184. And inside of T-Mobile, they are group stalking in relevant position, and the evidence already exists. Like I stated, I documented them in 2021 when I bought this very cell phone, and they were engaging in what is molestation and terrorism with direct light. They are demons that are monitoring with the Ontario Police Department, and that is documentation by virtue of the work schedule, who's on the clock right now, inside of that venue monitoring with the Ontario Police. License plate 8RTT229, 7Y42545. All right, and this is how you're getting to what is, again, this criminal system of monitoring, just being present. Being present is speaking to what is an unlawful threat, and the demons of police departments want to stalk and monitor you in your face, threaten your life, and then monitor with these group stalking with these demons, 7UFF177. You're going to federal prison. You're going to cut the head off of that altogether. All right, you want to monitor? Guess what? The police you document, and also those third parties go to federal prison mutually. They're both going to federal prison. 8FFE393, 5KPB056. That's how that's going to go. 17945X2, 7SQF912, 7XO1344, 6M18011, 8HGK860, 8MEU535, 5MYX439. Now understand, the police departments, they're monitoring on an ongoing basis. You're subject to massive surveillance. The police are an instrumental method of what is seeking ultimately to threaten your life, to threaten you like visibly in a way that you're aware of it. They start stalking heavily. They start engaging, kidnapping you. Okay, they start engaging waging false allegations and just harassing you, engaging in arriving to engage in what is threatening conduct with the people of the state while you document them. This is what the purpose of the demon-possessed police agencies engage in. 8ZIT 753. Now with that, like I said, they're crossing path in your face. That's a communication of a threat. This is demonstrating that you think in some way, you are communicating at least. I'm not going to go into Satan's thoughts, but you are communicating by virtue of your conduct that you are impervious to documentation and prosecution, and you are not. That is relevant to your prosecution. Okay, 7XO1344. Let's be clear, they're monitoring, and they're monitoring ongoing documentation. They, being an agency that is specifically engaged in repeated acts of kidnapping, they're going to federal prison for that already, okay? You have what is engaging in what is waging an impermissible threat by stalking in plain sight, so that the target individual witnesses your stalking conduct. They engage in the same thing as they stalk with the sound of sirens. Documenting the people of the state who are monitoring with the entity. D502J1 is the grounds of federal prison. Identify the third party. Identify him. License 4PPN254. License 8VYN763. 7XUU696. License plate. This is United States Postal Service 8YJR341. I think I read that one. 5UOL960. Hi. All right, that's the United States Postal Service. That's the feds, group stalking. And by that, I'm referencing the series of images that I took a close-up of the United States Postal Service group stalking and engaging in what is that criminal pattern of conduct as well. 7CTL392. Let me be clear, this entire entity is being documented as one engaging in what is assault with a deadly weapon while engaged in federal stalking, and engaging in what is the sex offense that is documented occurring inside of the 7-Eleven. Monitoring all day while I remain inside of the Upland Public Library, with my panties down in the bathroom, engaged in ongoing surveillance. This is a ceaseless system. This is a sex offender that's being documented as one, engaging in group stalking as one. Now, when you're talking about what is federal prison, you're talking about the grounds of federal prison. I'm documenting those that are subject to that while the entity wants to threaten your life in these manners in which where the state's acting directly. You're going to directly address that and document the people of the state who are threatening with them. And as they're documenting, you're talking about going to federal prison. 70HN015, 7CPK848. And so I want to point that out. But like I said, the pattern of conduct is one that is occurring as a group. The entity is acting as a group. All right, so you're essentially, you want to engage in what is bullying. Okay, well, so while the bully wants to act as a gang, you're going to prosecute them as the gang that they are. They engage in what is sexually violent gang activity. They engage in what is sexually violent stalking conduct as a gang. 7N4L97, Nevada. 6YTB695. 71266B1, 6MBA018. They engage in what is kidnapping as a gang, lying, making up stuff together as a gang. This is what the courts, this is what the police, this is what the sheriff engaged in. Guess what? That gang is going to federal prison. And the gang that was monitoring with them while I was kidnapped, I documented license plates. They're going to federal prison. 7KZZ403, 5UIR220, 8LWZ192, 8PGR217, and this is already published documentation. I'm helping you understand the way that the most effective method of executing a policy and dealing with what is demonic activity in the state. This demonic activity is serving a criminal system, and the ways in which you're going to target those demon-possessed actors that are acting together. They rely on each other. And while they rely on each other, they are getting each other into federal prison as well. That's exactly what's going to happen. 8FKA591. 9ANG860, 8XMP647, 8FTW065, 7VOL383, 6LIF720, 9, oh no, I read that one, 8FOU544, 6BZD 787, 8FTW 065, 57399X1, 8ZUU 587, 87697D3, 26, let's see, 26466G2, 59250E2. 8WWY 242, 7PPR 804, 8BAF 808, 6BFZ 513, 5YDG, I can't really see that one, you can scratch that one, 6TWS 201, 8ZLA 000. Um, 5YDG 895. 5XDK 149, 7BCA 152, 5YSK 281, BM54J33 paper. That's Union Pacific. 65359K3, and it's currently 7:27 p.m. License 7EFH770, LEXR12, and it's currently 7:28 p.m. Union Pacific is proceeding what is west on the train tracks right here at the museum at 7:28 p.m. I am at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts right now. This is P.O.C.
All right, I'm including in my podcast, which is a method of audible documentation, which is speaking to, again, very thorough evidence of everywhere that I'm located, as I'm subject to a ceaseless pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring, which is state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California and the people of the state of California. And I am including on this podcast the video documentation of what is assault with a deadly weapon by an entity engaged in federal stalking, which is also speaking to what is an ongoing terrorizing threat by this demon-possessed entity that is engaging in what is placing me under surveillance and engaging in doing so in violation of existing federal law. Again, I will remind you of that federal law that the entity is currently in violation of, but also speaking to what is Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2, which does not go far enough. All right, it does not contemplate what is the terrorism that you are subject to, while a demon-possessed entity, that is the people of the state and the state of California, is the demon-possessed entity. The public entity, the state of California, placing you under surveillance, both of those are relevant to what is prosecuting for terrorism while you were placed under surveillance by the government and the people of the state. And so this is documentation that I'm going to include in this podcast. This is the video that is captured at the specific time of 6:03 p.m. while I am standing literally at the same exact venue of the Upland Unified School District at the intersection of D Street and Euclid Avenue at 6:03 p.m., which is exactly where I stood on the morning of May 5th, 2022 at 9:25 in the morning, where that light source is directly over me at that same exact intersection. So understand, I am doing nothing other than looking to the east at 9:25 in the morning, and then I'm looking at the west and at 6:03 p.m. and that light source is in that same central position in perfect alignment with me, molesting my person with light. The people of the state are group stalking in this environment, and the people of the state engaging in what is assault with a deadly weapon while persisting on engaging in the crossing of path conduct and doing so and insisting on doing so on a specific side of my person while I am walking in the street with the right of way and accelerating toward me, looking directly at me while already posing a threat as a demon-possessed third-party group stalker, monitoring with the state on a ceaseless basis, and then accelerating toward me while looking directly at me, demonstrating that you are fully cognizant of my presence. You are accelerating in a weapon. That's what the vehicle is. While I'm being molested with directed light, while the entity is keeping the fake sun over me, while the entity is group stalking by law enforcement, ambulances, fire departments, and demons who are molesting with directed light. This is all manner of a threat. It is not an ordinary assault with a deadly weapon. This is assault with a deadly weapon by a demon-possessed entity that is criminally placing me under surveillance on behalf of the government, that is stalking me by helicopters, threatening my life day in and day out. Okay, so this is the video that I'm including in this podcast that I captured at 6:03 p.m.
And 6:03 p.m. is moments after exiting the Upland Public Library, where at 6 p.m. that light source remains in perfect alignment with me upon my exit of that Upland Public Library, which by virtue of that is absolutely impossible. That light source is not, it's in no way mistakable with regard to what is maintaining perfect alignment with me, where at that time I'm walking south on Euclid Avenue, the same street that I am going north toward the city of Upland in the morning. It is maintaining perfect alignment with me upon my exit of the Upland Public Library, and doing so, which is no misperception of depth. That light source moves in the direction of west while I'm on any vehicle going in the direction of west, as though it is at some distance. It is not at any distance. The same directed light is coexisting while that light source is hovering over me. And in the same way that it's hovering over the roof of the venue of the Upland Public Library, hovering over me, over my head while I'm walking on the streets, while I'm on public transportation, while I'm in any third party's vehicle, for example, and the entity is engaging in keeping this light source, which is direct evidence of what is an entirely it is an egregious threat to the life. And this is exactly understanding not only is the entity being prosecuted for engaging in group stalking, the ongoing precipitating harm suffered by the targeted individual, where you are group stalking by the people in concert with the people of the state who are already a threat to your life and physical well-being, engaging in the perpetual sex offense, stalking you in bathrooms, molesting you with what is directed light, maintaining presence all around you, terrorizing while they are of this specific condition, demon possession, and then engaging in what is accelerating towards you in a weapon itself. This is a vehicle because you insist upon monitoring me by crossing paths on a very particular side of my person while I have the right of way. Okay, where you have no right to be present in the first place. So let me be clear. This is not ordinary tort law, okay, with regard to assault with a deadly weapon and criminal law with regard to assault with a deadly weapon, and speaking to what is some threat that you're posing while you're in a vehicle, okay. This is nothing with regard to negligence or anything. This is stalking. This is plain stalking by the people, and then engaging in what is accelerating toward me in a vehicle where you're looking directly at me. You are present to engage in monitoring me with the state, and then you're engaging in what is posing an additional threat while you are threatening me while you're operating a vehicle, monitoring me on behalf of the state. And so I want to make sure I break all of that down. This is assault with a deadly weapon by an entity engaged in federal stalking. That's a whole other level of a federal charge, which the people of the state shall be prosecuted for. This particular actor whose license plate I immediately recited, and then I captured the video right there because you need to see where I'm located. You need to see where they are engaging in the pattern of conduct, and the people of the state shall be prosecuted as the gang of criminals that they are, acting on behalf of the government, who is placing me under surveillance via these demon-possessed minions that are identified for the prosecution as the people of the state of California. It is captured again at 6:03 p.m. And this is the P.O.C. and this is the video documentation of that P.O.C.
Documenting on my podcast is the people of the state engaged in what is assault with a deadly weapon, and that is a third party engaging in the group stalking conduct. You see the fake sun right above her car? This is the same location where I'm standing at 9:25 in the morning. The fake sun is here. It is again 6:04 p.m. The people of the state engaged in what is assault with a deadly weapon by an entity engaged in federal stalking. That license plate is recited on my podcast. It occurs right here. While I am while I am walking with the right of way, the third party is engaging in what is proceeding toward me. I'm documenting this on my podcast. Refuses to stop while I have the right of way. In doing so because they are engaging in what is necessary for monitoring. They're crossing path. 8 UYB 932. 8 LYD 199, and this is the entity that is engaging in what is group stalking while that assault with a deadly weapon is underway. And I want to be clear, this is capturing that impossible demonic that demonic environment. This is indeed capturing an impossibility. The sun is not remaining over the state. This is where the Upland police were parked. This is where the demons were driving by, directed light on the ground in the morning at 9:25 yesterday, and the entity's fake sun is here. It is 6:05 p.m. It's right here over what is 391 Euclid Avenue. I believe that's the address right there. This is the address that I'm looking at. right across the street. That's an impossibility. This is speaking to direct light. This is group stalking, and this is the entity. This is documentation of what is 7DRA082, crossing path. The entity engaging what is assault with a deadly weapon as they are engaged in group stalking on behalf of the state. And I want to document this in video. This is the precise maintenance of the light source. As I've been inside of the Upland Public Library, you see the fake sun has not gone anywhere. And it's only right here because I have walked away from the entryway of the library. It remains in perfect alignment with me of the entryway upon my exit at 6 p.m. And this is where the entity is engaging in what is assault with a deadly weapon. The people of the state and the state of California are to be prosecuted for that. The entity engaging in that, I was just going to mention them, and Satan knows that. Amazon Prime engaged in the exact same conduct, insisting on crossing a path while I am at the B&G Plaza crossing Holt Boulevard with the right-of-way. And Amazon Prime is going to the extent of running a red light in order to engage in crossing a path, which is an assault with a deadly weapon. It is not a coincidence that they are, first of all, in the specific environment group stalking, and also while I'm documenting the very criminal act that Amazon Prime committed on behalf of and in concert with the people of the state. They are group stalking at what is 477 North Euclid Avenue in Upland, California. And this is P.O.C. It's 6:06 p.m. My license 8YHY711. That's a demon with directed light coming back toward me. Monitoring with Amazon Prime. Monitoring with these demons who are patrolling. And this is the entity, the people of the state, engaging in what is assault with a deadly weapon by an entity that's engaged in federal stalking. It is 6:06 p.m. Not possibly the sun, not only based on what is this presence of the fake sun at 9:25 and literally right here above me. All right, it's 6:06 p.m., but also as I remain inside of the Upland Public Library as I captured video at 6:05 p.m. And I'm standing on the second floor inside of the Fontana Lewis Library where that fake sun's in perfect alignment. This is not in alignment with the center of the Fontana Lewis Library. This is P.O.C., okay? License 5 U.S.N. 635. The entity stalking by aircraft, flying directly over me at the museum. All right, capturing that in still images. This is amplified audible activity while the entity is flying over using an airplane and amplifying the sound of an airplane while hovering over and flying diagonally across. That's relevant positioning while they're flying over me in a diagonal manner in the direction which would be essentially northwest over me while I'm at the museum. It's 7:51 p.m. Doing it with simultaneity to what's going on my phone on the internet. I have completed uploading my podcast that I recorded from my departure from the Upland Public Library. The moment that it is uploaded, meaning fully processed and uploaded onto and live in order that it can be published, immediately the entity sounds plane activity and is flying over. And again, this is requiring that you are already stalking in the path. You're already hovering present, ready to engage in that knee-jerk type reaction with the creation of activity to stalk with activity. This is demonic conduct. It is speaking to what is hovering surveillance and group stalking activity with the people of the state, who I just got through naming tons more that are monitoring with this government. And this is what the people of the state engage in as well. Stalking in the path, maintaining presence. You're already stalking. You're already creeping, that is, okay? And then you're engaging in what is activity creation in order that your stalking presence is known as you make noise, as you make yourself visible while you are remaining present in the path, okay? Or maintaining inconspicuous presence while the entity amplifies audible activity all around me. It's the same conduct. Understand that. It is currently 7:52 p.m. This is P.O.C. at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. That's the entity stalking by commercial airline plane. There's no plane taking off over the museum. This is the same stalking conduct as I've documented American Airlines, Southwest Airlines, Delta Airlines, Alaska Airlines, Amazon Prime using its commercial airline planes, FedEx, and UPS, as I also documented at the intersection while the fake sun was over me at Euclid and Holt Boulevard. That's exactly what the entity is doing, engaging in relevant positioning. This is repeating the same conduct that the entity just engaged in moments ago, flying diagonally over, using a commercial airline plane to create the sound of plane activity, that's amplified audible activity, while that demon operating that commercial airline plane, using those types of resources to engage in group stalking, entirely terrorizing, okay, entirely demented, okay, totally, absolutely illogical, okay, this is the obsession. As you're witnessing the pattern of conduct, this is speaking to obsession. You go to very extreme lengths to target little old me. This is obsession. This is stalking, group stalking. It's 6:53 p.m. This is P.O.C. Not 6:53, 7:53 p.m. This is P.O.C. amplified audible activity while the entity is group stalking using commercial airline planes. This is seconds after what is criminal summoning by the Ontario Fire Department, who engaged in criminal summoning, sounding sirens also approximately maybe 10 to 12 minutes earlier than before that. They're engaging in alternating different methods of ongoing noise, okay, while the entity is stalking, directly sounding sirens and plane activity over the museum and driving around the museum. That's also on surveillance camera, the fire department group stalking, using their lights, crossing path at Euclid and Hall on traffic cameras, engaging in criminal summoning. It's 8:21 p.m., so that's literally at 8:21 p.m., sounding Ontario Fire Department sirens, and immediately, as though commercial airline planes are taking off from the museum, it is the same stalking content, crossing a path, using planes to do so. It's 8:21 p.m. This is P.O.C. while I'm uploading images, which you can see on my Google Drive. I'm uploading the images. These are all of the pictures that I took coming from the Upland Public Library, and I exited the Upland Public Library at around 6 p.m. And so they're monitoring this, engaging on what is the elements of monitoring while I'm in use of the internet and use of my communication device, and engaging in what is the criminal misuse of the fire truck. That's the criminal summoning by the fire department. And those are demons that are stalking. What is criminal summoning? It's demonic activity. It's serving a criminal purpose of federal group stalking and monitoring. Literally, these are demons with access to fire trucks who are stalking with light and stalking in the path while stalking with audible activity. It's demonic conduct by the Ontario Fire Department. Okay, it is 8:22 p.m. This is P.O.C. That's group stalking. That's Ontario Police. That's how those demons engage in group stalking. And that's criminal summoning. They're going to federal prison. They've been engaging in that for years. They would do that also while I was sleeping in my car, patrol around my vehicle, just stalking all around and while I'm in my car, sounding sirens, not going anywhere. Okay, just sounding sirens, and the sirens sound like they're right in front of my car, and then and the sirens would stop based on what I was doing, like the moment that I would move, or if I was sleeping, the entity that's monitoring engages in harassment, monitoring you while you're sleeping, and demons that know when I wake up. That's exactly what I documented this morning at 5 in the morning. The Ontario Police are the same. They have the same condition. They're demons, okay? And they're demons that are criminals. So what you just heard right now, first of all, it sounds like multiple vehicles at first sounding sirens, as though they're coming from far away and as though they're going somewhere. They're not going anywhere. They're stalking. They're stalking with noise, okay, because they're monitoring. All right, and so it sounds as though there are multiple sirens sounding, and then the sound gets louder, and it sounds as though there's just one siren, and that's when I start recording. You hear just one siren, and then you also hear what is, and now that it's louder in volume, and it abruptly stops, and then it resumes, and then it stops as it is at full volume. The entity is not, that demon is not going anywhere. And by the way, the entity creates the sound of sirens. And this is not necessarily requiring the actual presence of a vehicle around with sirens on. I'm describing what is demonic conduct, okay? But like I said, this is the entity that engages in what is surrounding you with what you are seeing. Satan engages in what is trickery in the environment. So you'll look at, for example, you'll see an American Medical Response vehicle driving by, got their lights on. You hear sirens. Your mind naturally thinks, oh, those are sirens that are sounding. But it is not necessarily the case, and I have documented what is, and observed what is not necessarily the sound of sirens, especially at the amplified level, from a demon that is stalking in an ambulance already present, is crossing path, turning on their lights and crossing path while you're being surrounded with audible activity. So this is speaking to what is demonic. It is entirely twisted. The more that I'm documenting and revealing to you what is the demonic activity, the more you are capable of understanding what it is that I am describing. It's entirely sick conduct. This is the conduct of Satan, and the bottom line is with regard to what is just putting what is entirely demented, trying to encapsulate it into a sentence in order that one may understand what is the sick conduct that the entity engages in, the pattern. The entity is fixated on, first of all, monitoring you and stalking you, and doing so through what is a group. It's not an individual. This is group conduct. And the group happens to be the state of California, all right, and the people of the state. And they're all demons, okay? And so you are surrounded by an environment, not only the environment that you see, but the environment that you hear, all right, the environment that you're surrounded by, the environment that you feel, okay? And this is with regard to, again, what I'm referencing, the elements of monitoring, demonic activity, while they are monitoring on communication devices. And so many times you are talking about what is present around in your environment. The Satan, this is demonic conduct. These are the demon possessed. Satan will match with what is around in the environment and use that as the methods of ongoing noise. All Satan is doing is surrounding you at all times with ongoing noise. Okay, in other words, sound, and surrounding you at all time with sound, surrounding you at all time with light, engineered light. This is not normal light, and surrounding you at all times physically. All right, by Satan's minions. All right, now what I'm describing right now is just the plain demonic conduct. All right, this demonic conduct is serving what is criminal monitoring in violation of federal law. But even this demonic activity shall be in violation of federal law. But I'm breaking down what is demonic right now. So you have what is surrounding you at all times with sound, and so based on what's in the environment, streets and highways. All right, so you're talking about what is going to be the use of the sound of traffic, for example. What's around? You have what is train tracks. So surrounding with the sound of what is trains. All right, surrounding with the sounds of what is even the sound of anything that you can fathom. But for example, what goes along with people that are present. You're talking about what is the use of minions that are yelling or even talking. The sound of, again, with regard to traffic, amplifying any and everything. You're talking about what are planes. You're talking about what are helicopters. And by amplification, I mean it is at an extraordinarily magnified level of volume. And this is demonstrated through the conduct that the entity engages in, because when the entity is engaging in stalking by helicopter and does so inconspicuously while it's flying at the same elevation when it's extraordinarily loud, I have been subject to this as well. And so you're talking about what is not based on what it is that you're seeing. The entity is surrounding at all times with what is the elements of monitoring. And so it's literally a soundtrack to what it is that surrounds. So because that there's a train and because there's a train track, you're going to engage in what is literally hyper use of the sound of a train. Okay, and that use of the sound of a train is that which is occurring even when there is not physically a train on the train tracks. But like, again, with regard to what is seeking to conceal, what are demons concerned with? What is Satan consumed with? Concealing its identity, its reality, its presence. And so that is that is why the entity is consumed with surrounding you with what is activity that can be attributed to what it is that you are witnessing with your own eyes. So you're not, in other words, aware of the fact that you're actually being surrounded with what is an entirely cartoon environment. The sound of a train is not necessarily attributed to what is actually a train that's on the tracks. And even while the train is on the tracks, it's at a volume that is extraordinarily louder than it normally is, than it actually is. Let me be clear. Sitting outside, for example, standing at the intersection of Holt and Euclid, as I am this morning, and Union Pacific is on the train tracks. I want to be clear. It is demonic that you are hearing what is amplified sound of a train. You're actually not going to hear the train at all. This is the reality of it. It's turned up to a volume. Everything is exaggerated with sound. It's all occurring in what is this engineered light that surrounds at all times, day and night. And that is why. And the ongoing objective of the demon-possessed who want to conceal their condition and conceal what is, in other words, suspect, an absolutely abnormal environment. You're talking about what is seeking to engage in what is a sound that is the maintenance of sound at all times, the maintenance of light at all times, and the maintenance of presence at all times. And so sound being created in ways in which you, in your mind, and your, unsuspecting self would attribute to, there's a train track, so thus you hear the train. And that's a very simple, I get it, very simple, logical, but it's not logical when you're talking about what is extraordinarily amplified in sound, which is just a matter of observation. What is coexisting with that, as I've documented before, sensational activity. All right, this is when you're understanding what's demonic. it's louder than it actually would be, you actually would not even hear it. I just want to be clear. Just because you see the train does not mean you're necessarily going to hear it. And it certainly is not creating any form for hearing it miles and miles and miles away at all. All right, but this is what the entity engages in. All I'm doing is speaking to what the entity engages in, but it is not logical. It is not actually the case. It's not even realistic. Okay? It's amplification, and it is demonic. The entity is engaging in what is sounding helicopter activity, for example, plane activity, and where I've observed that you're flying at the same exact elevation, you're flying just as low as you were before, and I couldn't hear it before when you didn't want me to know you were flying above. While, again, the minions that are the people of the state are monitoring or whatever, the entity is crossing path. The entity is engaging in what is the creation of amplified sound of helicopter, meaning the helicopter is heard really loudly when you're flying at the same elevation. Now, what is the explanation for that? Because you're talking about what is the substantially similar conduct, but yet one is really loud, loud sound of the helicopter versus another occasion when it's not. This is speaking to, again, the demonic environment, attributing what is the sound, the entity is surrounding at all times with sound, and engaging in what is the creation of sound around you, which you would attribute to what is the sound of traffic. Oh, you're hearing vehicles accelerating and engines and whatnot, and so that's what you're hearing. And so because you see the streets, you see cars driving on the road, that's what you're listening to. But actually, it's at an amplified level of volume. And it's also occurring, what else is occurring? It occurs with what is with simultaneity, just like you hear now. As I'm describing that demonic activity, Satan engages in replicating it as I describe it. This is what Satan does as I name a particular minion. That minion arrives in vision. I see them, I witness them, okay? That's not a coincidence in the specific environment. And it's also not a coincidence when you're engaging in that over and over and over again. But like I said, everything that they do, they're in the specific environment doing it. This is real-time demonic conduct. This is a real-time audience that is of the demon possession as I am revealing it, as I'm exposing it, I'm breaking it down in order that it will be understood. This is necessary to be understood because, first of all, it's going to be relevant to what is prosecution, to what is translating the ways in which Satan operates. And for whatever reason, for such a time as this is obviously something that is supposed to be, all I'm doing is speaking the truth. And I am telling what it is that I am subject to. I have been made subject to it for this purpose. And not only am I subject to it, I am one that is one that first initially discerned it, and then I documented it, and now I'm breaking it down for you, what is not only of the demonic, but it is also criminal in the way in which you can prosecute it under law. That which is demonic conduct, satanic, that which you cannot physically perceive, demon possession, capable of capturing with regard to objective evidence in a federal tribunal. I have been subject to this for this purpose of revealing it to anybody that has an ear. And it is relevant for what is, again, actual administration of the law, actual creation of federal law, the revealing of what is no longer to be concealed under any circumstances whatsoever, the reality of Satan, the processes of Satan, the methods of Satan, the identification of Satan. And Satan is present through an environment. Satan is not some creature with horns on its head and a red tail. Satan is present through the environment. Satan is present through people, and it is referred to as what is demon possession. This demonic activity is serving a criminal purpose. And so again, with that objective of keeping always surrounded with sound, keeping one always surrounded with light, not normal light, it's the engineered light, okay? And you're going to understand that there actually is a fallacy with regard to what is quote unquote normal light. You're understanding what is actually engineered light that's always surrounding. You're understanding what is an entirely manipulated environment, which you were formerly ignorant of. You're not ignorant of it anymore, especially when you are observing what is supposed to be the sun over one address in the morning, and at that same address, the sun is still there in the evening. Even aiming what's supposed to be sunlight into, focusing into that address, that's impossible. That's not the sun. This is how you're aware of your environment. This is how you're witnessing Satan, okay, through the environment, through the people who are of that condition. You're in that demonic environment because you are of that condition. And you're engaging in criminal conduct as well. It goes directly to that. And so I just want to point that out, the objective of creating noise based on what is surrounding in the environment. Now, that's not always the case. The entity just engages in what is just creating just loud noise. Like I was in the Upland Public Library. There is no explanation for what's the loud boom that's heard inside of the study room, okay? I mean, there is no explanation for that. The entity engages in that very often, all the time, okay? The The objective, is to keep surrounded with noise. More often than not, the pattern is to the entity that is engaging in demonic activity surrounding you with it seeks to surround you with what is noise, sound that you are attributing to what it is that you see. Thus, you see traffic, so you hear the sound of traffic, but you're paying attention to what is the volume level, which is abnormal. It's serving what is massive monitoring, because the objective is to keep you surrounded with noise and engineered light while you're subject to group stalking. And that's something that you are observing. It's not only the volume level, but it's also the creation of what is that sound that you're attributing to what is traffic that you see, as that sound of traffic tends to follow what you're doing physically and on the internet. Stalking with activity, okay? Demonic, that's something that you're paying attention to, and it's occurring in that specific environment. All right, so this is what the entity is doing. These are the demons of the Ontario Police Department. It sounds as though there are multiple vehicles with multiple sirens sounding, as though they're coming from a distance, driving up. It's not. They're not. Okay? They are stalking in the path. They're engaging in surveillance, sitting on a corner around a relevant position, driving around in circles around me in relevant position, maintaining and alternating methods of ongoing noise in the specific environment that I am surrounded by. And then you have what is nothing other than turning up the volume of the sound of sirens. The use of sirens is nothing other than a method of audible activity creation while the entity is monitoring together with communication devices. All right, that's the Ontario police that are engaging in that. And so I wanted to break that down. The entity engaging in that, what you heard, the abrupt cease of the abrupt ceasing of the sound of sirens as it got louder and louder, and it sounds as though it's right here next to me. And then it resumes the sound of siren. They're stalking with noise. They're engaging. They're not going anywhere. And they're engaging in what is the sound, some illusion as though they're coming from somewhere and that they're going somewhere. They're not. They're stalking. That's why I remain surrounded with what is directed light. That's why the entity is engaging what is the unnatural volume level and the ongoing perpetual maintenance of sound. All manner of sound. Okay, and this is speaking to what is the ongoing system of group stalking. All right, so it's currently in group stalking again. Group stalking is demonic activity. So anyway, it's currently 8:51 p.m. This is P.O.C. at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. The entity is monitoring what I'm uploading onto my Google Drive. Flying directly over me by helicopter. 9:21 p.m. This is the same exact entity whose license plates I recited. Tons and tons, those are the people of the state stalking with this government that's stalking by helicopter. Okay? The entity that's engaging in assault with a deadly weapon. All right, engaging in what is group stalking, accelerating toward me while I have the right of way, doing so while they're engaged in criminal monitoring in concert with this government. That's the entity that engaged in assault with a deadly weapon, which I documented. That's the people of the state. This is the same exact entity. And this is entirely demonic. The government is flying over me by helicopter at the museum. I'm being molested with what is directed light. The people of the state, the demons, are pacing in on Transit and on Euclid Avenue, stalking in the path with light is what they're doing while they're in vehicles, pacing all around. Okay, this is the P.O.C. And like I said, that video documentation, I captured video. I'm going to publish it because it's currently 9:22 p.m. I captured that video at the intersection of D Street and Euclid Avenue in Upland, California, which is the exact same intersection where I stood at 9:24 in the morning yesterday. So you're talking about what is, again, capturing what is not possibly the sun at the same exact intersection where I am facing east at D Street and Euclid, and then I'm facing west at D Street and Euclid at that same exact intersection. That is not the sun. Okay, that is the capturing what is the environment that the people of the state are stalking in. I'm subject to group stalking, and then that group stalking entity engages in what is an assault with a deadly weapon, and doing so in concert and on behalf of this government that is stalking me by helicopter, which is group stalking on behalf of that entity. This is the exact same entity that's engaging in stalking inside of the venue where I was all day, the Upland Public Library, while the entity is keeping what is a fake sun in alignment with me. And that's why as I exit that venue of the Upland Public Library in the evening after 6 p.m., that fake sun is at that same intersection where I am present in the morning. This is speaking to what is demon possession, and that's a demon that is engaging what is pacing, that is flying repeatedly over me in engineered light in a helicopter. These are the demons that are monitoring with the agency that is the Ontario Police Department, who are demons driving around in circles, not going anywhere, engaged in surveillance, monitoring while this demon is flying over me by helicopter, and while they are repeatedly sounding their sirens, which is criminal summoning. Pacing using commercial airline planes. The same exact entity. Okay? Pacing around in commercial vehicles. Okay, that's what the entity is engaging in. That's exactly what I'm continuously documenting. This is the entity that is following up. Understand the commercial airline plane is nothing other than an ongoing method of another demon that is crossing a path above my head, doing so with amplified audible activity, doing so while I am being molested with what is engineered light. This is obsessive stalking. In the same way that you see the people of the state, there are a bunch of demons as I'm capturing video of the fake sun over my head and engineered light filling the venue of the Upland Public Library, and you see them sitting around, walking around, getting up and closing doors, engaging in conversation. They're group stalking in plain sight. They're continuously group stalking, engaging in the obsessive pattern while I am documenting them. That's exactly what the government is doing right now using plane and helicopter. That's exactly what it's doing. Okay, so I want to be clear, it's 9:25 p.m. This is the same exact entity that engaged in, again, what I will be prosecuting for. Very serious federal charges. The entity that's threatening my life, engaging in what is an ongoing threat, assault with a deadly weapon, because you are such an obsessed stalker, so determined to engage in your stalking activity and monitoring with this government flying over my head by helicopter, that you are engaging what is waging a threat with a deadly weapon, and that is that third party's vehicle. That is not just that third party who shall be prosecuted, who's going to have that on their criminal record. You're talking about what is the conduct of the entity on behalf of the people of the state. The people of the state engaged in that criminal act with these demons. The Ontario police on traffic cameras right now at 9:25, crossing path, that is group stalking with the government that's flying over me by helicopter, crossing path on Euclid Avenue, driving north on Euclid Avenue right now. Group stalking. That's on traffic cameras. Okay? They are engaging in ongoing pacing. They're sounding their sirens. They are psychopath, obsessed stalkers, not going anywhere. Okay, not going anywhere. They are staying right here around me, stalking. And you need to hear this helicopter activity, because what I'm referencing in videos, this is what I'm capturing. And so I want you to hear it on my podcast, because this is what's going on a daily basis. This is what's going on when I'm at venues such as, anywhere. But as of late, when I'm at, for example, what I'm documenting, Stephanie Ortiz, okay, of the Fontana Lewis Library. This demon you're talking about what is a slam dunk case. She's going to federal prison. I'm laughing because I'm so serious. She's going to federal prison. She's not getting out for a long time. The entity was engaging in the same exact conduct, terrorizing me, flying around. I have video of the entity flying around me while I'm inside of the Fontana Lewis Library. I documented it on my podcast. The entity is amplifying helicopter activity, and these psychopaths, the demon-possessed third parties that they are, while the entity is flashing directed light onto the second floor inside of the depths of that library, which I captured on video. All right, the entity is engaging what is amplified sound of helicopter activity inside of that library. That's speaking to the impossible audible activity. All right, but while the entity engages in such amplified audible activity, which is demonic, it's also used as what is an admission that you're stalking. Okay, so like I said, not only did I capture that on my podcast, and then I captured video of, yes, the Fontana Police Department using its black helicopter, stalking me while I'm on the second level inside of the Fontana Lewis Library, in the same way that this entity is stalking me by helicopter right now at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, while Amazon Prime is group stalking. Okay, while the Ontario Police Department is group stalking, while that's Swift Night Transportation Holding, not KK Trucking, but they were group stalking earlier this morning. Same exact entity, okay? It's the same exact entity engaging in pacing, but that particular brand, that commercial actor is Swift Night Transportation Holdings, group stalking, okay, with the Ontario Police Department. That same hallmark of stalking with a helicopter. All right, and doing so under what is the fake moon that's directly over my head. The same location where the fake sun is directly over my head at the same exact property. Okay, that's speaking to what is an ongoing environment that shows how much I am the focus. And that's why they gas up helicopters and fly around. That's why they gas up their police vehicles and drive around. Psychopaths just sounding sirens, not going anywhere. They're literally psychopaths that are driving around in circles all night long, listening to me breathe. In the same way that when I'm in the bathroom, they're listening to me pull my panties down. And that is put in such explicit terms because that is the sexual violence that they are engaging in. Okay, it is currently 9:28 p.m. and this is that ongoing evidence of what is that obsessed stalker and doing so with helicopter. This is an illustration revealing what is an obsession while group stalking is underway, which is demonic activity. It's terrorism. The state of California is engaging in what is interstate stalking. It is in violation of existing federal law. That is Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. And it is routinely documented, meaning I have hundreds of video documentation and images showing the government stalking me with helicopters everywhere that I go, day and night. This is that which the entity is doing in concert with the people of the state, who are subject to what shall be federal prison, as I have documented it. The same with the entity that is stalking by the demon-possessed agency, the Ontario Police Department, and any other law enforcement agency, who are exercising fictitious authority under the law while they are engaging in criminal conduct of an unprecedented level. Federal group stalking and monitoring. All right, and it is referred to under Title 18, it's federal stalking. But I want to be clear, federal group stalking and monitoring, this is revealing, this is what my documentation is capturing. A demon-possessed entity, this is a demon-possessed government that's using a helicopter to stalk, to engage in group stalking. This is a demon-possessed government that's using law enforcement, police officers who are of this condition. These are demons driving police vehicles, wearing police uniforms, bearing weapons, stalking an American citizen while they maintain real-time knowledge based on their criminal conduct and their demon possession, their very condition. They know exactly what I'm documenting. All of this is relevant to the ways in which they're going to be prosecuted. The police agencies in general engaging in group stalking, they are subject to federal prison. They're in violation of existing federal law and also law that shall be enforced against this entity, which is custom fit for what is the demonic system, because Title 18 addresses what is interstate stalking, but it is not specifically contemplating the government that is engaging in interstate stalking, placing an American citizen under surveillance, and doing so with the people of the state, who are of a specific condition, and that is demon possession. And that demon possession is a matter of objective evidence through what is the conduct, the behavioral pattern of the entity, and also the specific environment, which is also revealing what is a scientific impossibility. This scientific impossibility is I'm capturing what is the engineered light, as I'm capturing the amplified audible activity, as I'm capturing the light source, which is not possibly the sun. This is a reference to the demonic. The scientific impossibility of what is that environment that is maintaining presence, following, remaining at all times, where the government is stalking by helicopter, stalking by police, fire, and ambulance, and stalking by the people of the state. It is currently 9:31 p.m. and this is P.O.C. at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts.